The information shared during this live stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. All trades, ideas, and strategies discussed are my personal opinions and are not recommendations to buy or sell any securities. Trading involves risk, and you should always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. You are solely responsible for your own trading results. The information shared during this
Top of the morning, traders, and happy Thursday, April 21st, and welcome to the Most Value Pack Live Trader Show, where we live trade, break down charts, cover impact events, and talk trader mindset. Hope everyone had a great day yesterday and is ready to kick off another opportunity-filled day. If you're a first-time viewer, make sure to smash the like button. Long-time viewers, make sure to jump in our Discord. Join us for the pre-market prep stream where we go over everything. We go over our game plan in detail. Going into today, a massive gap, pretty significant gap up here. We are within striking distance of all-time highs. All-time highs, to give you some context, 7, 12, 38. Mark that out. Matter of fact, let's put an alert on that right there. We did see IW make all-time highs today. In the pre-market, IW was the first one to make all-time highs this week. The Qs also bouncing around here. We're seeing a little bit of volatility there right at that daily upside breaker. So let the dust settle in this territory, and we'll look to take advantage of the best opportunity that comes to fruition. VIX is above that 19, continues to push. SPY selling off. Let's see. Let the 1 minute candle close out so we can gauge our TOG BOG. We're in the heart of yesterday's gap up, so that gap up has officially been filled. Once today's done, this gap up levels will be gone off those charts. So that weekly candle gap, that weekly gap has been filled. Off the bat, we're seeing the Qs sell off here. We're seeing the Dow sell off here. We're seeing IW sell off here as well. IW flirting with that daily upside breaker. The Qs below that daily upside breaker. SPY below that daily upside breaker. The Dow still has a little bit of ways to go to get to that daily upside breaker, as the Dow has the most amount of strength in relation to those other names. What is a great stop loss to use? Just depends. I would say for scalping, anywhere from 10 to 15%. That's where I am if I'm scalping, 10 to 15%. All right, the whole objective is I don't want to be wrong for long. Right? It's just to think of it like this. Your stop loss should coincide with your recovery rate. Okay? So on an average day, what's a go-to setup in which you can extract that said amount? So I know a trade, if I'm going to trade, there's a good chance I can extract 10, 15%, 20% regularly. So now my stop loss has to coincide or be a little less than that. So because you're thinking of your ability to recover, right? Say, for instance, on the regular, if a trade works in your favor, your TP is 10, 15%, right? With a majority, and your stop loss is 40%, your recovery rate is way, you have a long path to recovery. You're going to have to get 2, 3, 4, 5 trades to work in your favor to recover that one loss. All right, so let the stop loss closely coincide with with the amount you usually take off the table, if that makes sense. All right, think of it as a recovery rate. Okay. Good morning, Mort. Good morning. God bless you too. Good morning, Mimi. Good morning, 1036. Good morning, guys. As you're coming in, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so we do have a couple of things the market needs to digest. Retail sales being one. Commander-in-Chief did make some comments, all right, per usual, in CNBC, all right. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about the Fed chart. We talked about Iran. So let the market digest some of that data. The goal today is 150 likes by 10:30. We will be in great shape to do the giveaway. When we take a look at some of the names, guys, the Elite, the Terrific 12. We're seeing Intel continue to push. Intel continues to push here. Palantir, good night. JPM pushing to the upside. Microsoft, good night. That 5 minute candle. Meta, good night. Tesla, good night. Amazon, good night. Right? A lot of those things initially dumping. I know I'm being a little hyperbolic. It's still the first couple of minutes, but it's just to give you a sense of what's going on. And now the question becomes, do we continue that, what we're seeing, or do we start pulling back? JPM is the only one that has strength so far. JPM does have that strength. JPM does have that strength. So we're here just testing that prior day highs. We're slightly below prior day highs. We are red on the daily. IW, nice bounce off that 277.66. All right, on IW, that was the level that we were discussing, that daily upside breaker. Nice bounce on IW. IW. We're at PML on SPY. We're below PML on the Qs. So do we get a PML reclaim? If we don't, we can start to head towards 708.03, that daily, then that weekly open. Okay, that NYWO. NYWO. Sounds like a band or something. Okay. All right, so we're at that PML. Again, 10 o'clock, we do have Wars testifying. I'm not confirmation here. I'm not sure that's going to be streamed. I'll look for it on YouTube. Maybe the AP will have it. So the only thing really showing some signs of life at the current moment, guys, is small caps. Small caps is carrying us. Small caps are carrying us. NVIDIA pulling back here as well. NVIDIA right at that daily upside breaker. JPM continues to push. Intel did initially have strength, starting to pull back there. So we're back below that 710. Okay, let's go to our game plan chart real quick. So this is where we are. So one of the scenarios we discuss is, can we hold here? Do buyers step in? If they don't, we start to head towards this level here. And then we have to ask that same question once again, right, at these critical levels. So if you're short in that territory below PML, right, you have room. You have a little bit of room into this territory. Right, and of course you're taking your profits on the way. We are at that weekly open. Our weekly open is 708.79. 708.79. The Qs fell back below weekly open. So the Qs went back red on the week. We have prior day close and that weekly open right here, giving us a nice little level. We did have a small gap up today. We filled that gap already. See if prior buyers can pile in off that weekly open and that prior day close. So the Qs flipped to being red on the week. So I'm going to flip that to red. Okay, so whenever we're above or below that weekly, I'll flip that level to the corresponding color. I'll flip that level to the corresponding color. So far as sectors are concerned, we are seeing SMH lead the way. SMH, XLF lead the way. United Health still up nicely there. United Health, Intel, Chipotle lays up nicely. SNDK up 1%. Amazon up 1.76. A lot of that is due to that gap up. Okay, JPM is showing some promise here. Only thing with JPM is the contracts are a little spready. Okay. The meme stock thing is back. I will not engage in this nonsense trading. I respect my trading. It is my business, and DJ gambling has kept me in check 100%. So are those memes starting to go? Yeah, that means, right, whenever that's starting to go, that means we're just, that sentiment is risk on. There's an appetite for risk, right? There's an appetite for risk, so just be very, very cautious, right? The times to be very skeptical and cautious is when everyone is overconfident. Right. Today's gap close. SMH, yep, those contracts expensive. Absolutely. Good morning, guys on YouTube. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Poll question for today on YouTube is, all right, you can also put it in a Google Meet. You can also put it in a Discord, just a yes or a no. Does SPY make all-time highs today? Yes or no? Yes or no? Does SPY make all-time highs today? Yes or no? Automatic money destroyer on the move. Okay, Amazon's still selling off. Let's take a look at AMD. Good morning, Jose. Let's take a look at AMD. Yep, AMD. Intel and AMD on the move. We're seeing divergence in the semis once again. Okay, vote. We got no ATH here. We got no ATH here as well. We got yes there. So that looks like the poll might be split. The poll, guys, 36 votes on YouTube, is split 50-50. All right. It's split. It can go either way. Okay, so now we can see this key zone has a lot of selling pressure up here. So anytime we come back into this territory, right, we know we have to respect the supply. We have to respect these sellers up here. All right, that opens up an opportunity for that grab. At the current moment, this opportunity is not here. So it's not here. It's a potential opportunity in the future. Okay, within today, at some point today, if we do get a nice little bounce off some low, this will be there. So if you're waiting for this to make those decisions there, all you need to do is set your alert. Okay, set your alert and you wait for that opportunity there, and you don't do anything else. If you want to do something else, that's a completely different idea, because this already took place in that pre-market. So this needs to hold here, guys. You can also see we have the nice little channel on the 15. Nice little channel. Anyone keeping a close eye on this channel? Separation is the name of the game. Separation is the name of the game. Okay, so buyers picking it up off that weekly open. See if we get that PML sweep. Okay, pick this thing back up off PML. Now Qs are still red on the are back to being red on the week, so the Qs need to wake up. So we are seeing a little bit of profit taken on the mega caps, rotation into the Dow, and continued buy up in the small caps. All right, very interesting rotation there. Very interesting. As you're coming in, guys, let's get the likes up on YouTube. Yeah, IWM has been very, very clean, so I might have to address IWM today. I might have to be on top of IW today. IW is coming into that PMH. The level given today for IW, of course, was that daily upside breaker bounce. Okay, look, came right into that zone, right? Unlike the other names, comes into it, bounces, is out of here. Now it does have enough fuel to break above PMH. PMH can be an area where we do see a little bit of exhaustion. At this point, any break above that 278.74 is all-time highs. All right, so it did hold up. Buyers did step up there, respected it. As far as the Qs are concerned, Qs, right, no signs of life there. Okay, so now do the buyers step up here and reload, try to push it back higher, or do they fail below 645.65? If we fall below 645.55 and start to sell off, then that is a rotation out of the mega caps on the daily. All right, a complete rotation out of the mega caps on the daily. So again, that fine line in the sand for us to continue to hold on to that bullish line of thinking on the daily is at 645.65. If we fall below it, there's a possibility. If we fall and break below, continue to sell out, there's a possibility for us to go 3 down. All right, but of course that 50 MA is there as well. All right, so very important that we do pay attention to that unfold. SPY did come off this area for that nice little bounce. If you do take that bounce, you have room to 709.33. So these are initial runway. Okay. From there to there. And then you just take it piece by piece. You take it piece by piece. It's going to come down to the Qs. Can the Qs reclaim that weekly open? Can the Qs reclaim that 648.12? That's the big task for the Qs. We're trying to reclaim this PML. Trying to reclaim that PML. Let's see what's showing that continued strength here as we approach Shockwave hour. Microsoft is showing some signs of life. Nice grab of that PML. JPM continues to push. Okay, it looks like Meta's starting to push as well. Nvidia's starting to push off those lows as well. Okay, that reclaim on the Qs is going to be critical. JPM continues to push. Google looks good too as well. Nice grab of that PML on Google. See if Google can pop above that 339 whole number. Currently, we're testing that PML here. PML test. MRVL and Microsoft long setting up off over VWAP. MSFT. Yep, I like that one as well. I'm keeping a close eye on it. Even if it can come back and retest at 419.73 on Microsoft. And Microsoft is a mover. MRVL. Yep, MRVL looking good as well. On the verge of making all-time highs. I haven't traded MRVL this year. So I want to take a look at the contracts. Okay, a little spready. So the ask might be too much to ask for. Okay. So bid or mid if you do trade MRVL. If you do trade MRVL, bid or mid. Okay. Yeah, again, if you want that delay-free, ad-free stream, guys, that is available. I know there is commercials. That's just the nature of how things are. It's like if you're watching a ball game, if you're watching anything, there's commercials, right? But the game has to be worth sitting through the commercial. All right, but if you want that delay-free, ad-free, that is also available in the Discord. Okay. All right, so that Shockwave is here. Shockwave hour is here. IW is a candidate. IW would be a candidate here. Only thing is, it's at all-time highs, looking at the 278s. There goes the Dow. So it looks like they want to run up small caps today. MRVL 152.60. Keep a close eye. JPM, Shockwave there. Keeping a close eye on IW. Like Lynn likes to call it, the little train that could. If you took IW above PM8's 278.79, good. SPY starting to fuel up as well. There goes Goog. IW, what a nice break on IW. Okay, see if we can pull back slightly. See if we can pull back slightly there. SPY setting up as well. SPY setting up as well. They didn't provide a clean entry on IW, so that retest, we'll keep a close eye on that retest. IW is the first to lead. IW to make all-time highs. And you want to take IW above that level. Ideal entry on IW, guys, was that bounce off that 277.66. And that was just icing on the cake. That bounce off that 278.79. I'll be there for IW. It did already hit that scale out. See if the SPY can start to work its way to the upside. NIW, beautiful. Meta's coming in as well. Microsoft, nice break on Microsoft. Shockwave on Microsoft. IW, starting to move. It's a mover. SPY coming into play. SPY 710.49. Meta starting to move as well. IW. All right, so we just came into this territory. We just wicked out of it and started to bounce off it. So I want to see a nice hold on SPY above that daily open, a nice break above that level. There goes the Q. There goes the Dow. IW's out of here. Now, guys, if the Qs can get above that weekly open, get above that 648.12, that gives us the freedom we need to start to push. I'm looking at the 711s on SPY, 711s. Okay, see if you can hold right there. Microsoft out of here. If you take the ripple, manage accordingly. Ripple means that initial break. All right, so in this case, the risk can also be that 710. This would be the risk area. So no close back below here, right? Just looking for a nice entry, confirmation that we continue to push higher. All right, so let's see if we get that confirmation that we're going to push higher. And what's going to really help us, guys, so that we don't go double top, is the Qs getting above that 648.05. That's what's really just holding us back now. Okay, and this thing is ready to go, but it just needs the participation from the Qs. A reclaim on the Qs will take us to the top. All right, so that zone is coming into play. Let's see if we can provide us an opportunity. Entry, I do like this area. I want to see an entry model present an opportunity. See if we get a nice little push. Okay, 710.49 hold. That's what I'm looking for. What's the biggest danger here? What is the biggest danger here? Biggest danger here is going a little early, right? Without confirmation. You can benefit sometimes, but the biggest danger is getting caught in a double top. But once, that's what I'm trying to filter out. So once we can confirm that we're going to continue to push and we can get the Qs to get on board, meaning the Qs at least push into that 648.05 and try to make a run, then that will lift us above that, right? But if the Qs start to stall, all right, where they are, we probably hang out in this area. If the Qs start to break down, more than likely we start to head back towards that 709.64 territory. So it's going to come down to what the Qs do. So we want to see the mega cap names starting to get bought back up here. Nvidia, see if Nvidia can start to wake up. Okay, so interested in this area, just waiting for my calling card. IW, this thing just made all-time highs, scale out, TP hit. Excuse me. Who took IW? AMD, slide to the downside. Keeping a close eye on SPY here. Looking at the 7-Elevens. Microsoft starting to go. Already broke. And headed towards that 723.13. Right. Now we take a look at that game plan chart. We can see, team, we're coming to that zone. We wicked, came off that 20 and starting to bounce off that 20. So we need to break those highs. Break of those highs. Okay, if we can get that, that'd be great. We did sweep that PML. Okay, just waiting. So I'd have to sit through this. So I can take the trade here, but I would have to sit through this back and forth. Okay, see if we can start to brew here. I like how the Qs are starting to pick up some speed here. Qs hold above that level. Okay. Okay, SPY starting to break. Just pull back just a little bit. I'll be there for it. Pull back just a little bit. I'll be there for it. Qs are starting to go. That's giving us that acceleration we need. Okay, give me a slight little pullback. Slight little pullback. I don't mind paying a little bit more. Okay, if the Qs start to go, this thing can start to go. Just pull back just a little bit. One red candle. One red candle. Give me one red candle. Give me one. If you're in that, manage accordingly. Manage accordingly. Okay, that has room to 710 initially. Okay, if the Qs can get above that 648.12, this thing's ready to go. This thing is ready to go. Okay, just give me one little red candle. Give me one little red candle. Slow down so I can sit through a little bit of back and forth. Okay, if you took that dollar signs. 20% SPY, beautiful job. See if you can pull back at least into this area. I'll be there for it. Okay, IW continues to go. Qs, now we need the Qs to hold above that 648.12. We need the Qs to hold above that level. Okay, as we're coming into this territory, I want the Qs to continue to push. Okay, come a little lower, just a little bit lower. If it starts to wick, I have to buy it at the top. Okay, I'll take it right there. Okay, I'm in the calls here. So not the ideal entry, but I got to take it there. Okay, so my risk would be that daily open. Risk would be daily open. No close back below daily open. All right, so the entry is a little bit higher than I want, but at least it's not all the way up there. And then now I just need SPY to, I want the Qs to continue to push above 648.12. And I want SPY to continue to power, to continue to push forward. All right, so my NC would be here. No close. NC, adjusted NC would be right there, okay? That daily open, no close, back below here. There goes MRVL starting to go. Now we just need the Qs to continue to push. Okay, the Qs continue to push. Now stay above that view up at least on the Qs. Average fill 119 on the 711 0 DTEs. Okay. See if you got a nice little push in 710. Okay. Up 9. There we go. Get a push in 710.85. Okay, I like how the Qs are going. I want the Qs now to stay above that PML. Qs have flipped back to the upside. Okay, now see if SPY can push. This C9, see a push above that 710.85. Okay. Starting to stall here. AMD starting to pick up off those lows. MSFT continues to go. I have a little bit of room left until 711. If I said 710, I'm going to say 711. Okay, TP where you need to, guys. Those high single-digit TPs. That's what the market is giving. My NC is right here. See if we get one more push above that 5-minute candle. I like how the Qs are starting to pick up, right? I like how the Qs are starting to pick up here. Get a nice push. AMD, right? Shot out of a cannon. MRVL starting to go. Microsoft starting to go. Palantir starting to go. If we can break these highs, that's where the double digit lies. Break those highs, that's where the double digit lies. Okay, now the Qs are back at that daily upside breaker. What's happening now is as we're rotating back into the Qs, we're starting to see some profit taking in the small caps. I'm starting to see some profit taking in the Dow. Okay. See if you get that break above that 710.85. If we take a look at the game plan here, guys, a game plan chart, you can see this is where we are. So we came into this territory. We spent some time there. Okay, and now we're doing that. All right, NC's here. So if we close below here, I'll close out. See if I can get a double-digit gain out of this one. I did see 9, close to 10. But I do like how the Qs continue to push. That can give us that lift we need. We just need the Dow to hold above 497.61. Okay, and we need the IW to hold above 278.79. See one more push back above 710.85. That 5-minute candle is inside. VIX starting to pick up here. We'll just monitor that. Okay, VIX starting to pick up some steam here. Starting to see a slowdown on the Qs. Who took profits already? If you took profits already, congratulations. Okay, they're providing those good opportunities. Single digits add up. Okay, let's see if you get that one push to the upside. Ideally, Qs, guys, I want the Qs to remain as close as possible to 648.76 and possibly break above that. If we can get some buying on the Dow, that will help us get over this hump. In this case, if the Qs completely reject off that 648.76, 75 territory, that can start to push us back lower. This has to break. If we can't get that break of this downward compression, get that nice little flag there. Okay, push into 610.85. Then my time is coming close to an end, and we're running out of fuel. Okay, we need that break above 610.85. My NC is right here. If we close below here, should be about a 10-15% stop. All right, let's see if they pull some trickery here and I get that pump. Look at that. Okay, look at that, guys. Look at that. Look at that manipulation there. Scale out if you need to. Look at that candle. There goes the Qs. I want to see a hold above this. If we can start to flip this candle green, would be good. Shockwave scale out already. If you want to scale out there, you can. Okay, my NC's here. Still in the position. But Shockwave scale out there. Okay. So I did get all the way up here. Did flash double digits there. Just wasn't quick enough to lock that in. That 5-minute candle, guys, has 3 minutes left. Has a ton of time left. But if it can stay as a nice green hammer candle, 3-up candle, that would be great. All right. This kind of just throws a wrench into the equation. Okay, I want us to push here. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Get one more little push into 7-11. Okay, there we go. Okay, up 10. I'm going to scale out right there. Thank you very much. Okay, scale out at 10. Thank you very much. Hold runners. See if we can get a push above that 7-11. Okay, I'll move my NC to here. So scale that at 10. Move an NC to right here. No close above there. 7-11 is a major, major level. All right, that is a level that was provided in the pre-market. We saw what kind of relationship we've built with that 7-11 over the past few days. So we have to respect that. All right, so if we close below here, that 7-11 is rejecting, we'll respect it. Okay, so that's going to be my risk for the runner here. Okay, if I don't want the runners to get back below there. So scale out 10%. That's what it will give us. That's what we'll take. Now the Qs are starting to fade here. Qs are starting to fade. So if we can, as long as we remain above here, I'll stay in. I want that 5-minute candle to get bright green as possible. All right, get bright green as possible. The Qs are starting to push as well. Stay above 648.76. I like how the Dow is starting to bounce. Now, if everything can start to get lifted, we saw that bounce on the IW off that 276.79, and now if the Qs can stay above 648.76, okay, we can start to get that lift off we need. All right, but for that lift off to take place, I don't want price to get below NC. That's gonna be my fine line in the sand. All right, fine line in the sand. Just sticky here, very, very sticky, very, very slow. So I want that 5-minute candle to close. It has a minute and some change left. So if we can close bright green versus bright red, that's good. We're probably diverging in this territory as well. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so we need bright green. Okay, coming get very close to getting stopped out here. I want no close below here. I'll probably be a 7 to 8, 5 to 8%. Stop loss on runners there. How we doing, guys? How we doing? Yeah, the entry, I didn't get the best entry either. But if I can see that double, I'll take that double. That 5-minute candle not looking promising. The Qs need to hold above that 648. 648. That 648, that thing is blocking my way. That daily upside breaker, to say the least. Qs need to hold above that daily upside breaker. That's what it's going to come down to. We need to hold above this. If we can't hold above that, then I'm out of there. On the runners, we're probably diverging up here. Can someone confirm if we're diverging there on the 1? If we don't get a bounce here, I'll be out of there. No bounce. No bounce, I'll bounce. That 5-minute candle not looking promising. Okay, I'm out of there. All right, so close runners out. All right there. Okay, so I gave 10% to scale out. Wanted to see if there was one more after it. And now that I'm probably not there, wants to take off. But that's all good. We'll look for the next opportunity. Okay, so again, if you were ready yesterday, you're able to get back to the green side today. You did your job. All right, that's the primary objective. So you can be done regardless if you're green by $1, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is. Green is the name of the game. All right. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I'm okay with that stop there. Because at 7-11, all right, we're gonna need a lot of force to break that 7-11. All right, we're not gonna just stroll into 7-11 and then break it. If you were tuning in last week, you know exactly why 7-11 is so strong. Okay. And the adjustment I was making from yesterday is, all right, don't sleep on those 10, 12% gains, 8%, 9%. All right, so that's the adjustment I want to make. Okay, let's get caught up in the chat on YouTube. SPY puts, double top on extended session. Exit from SPY puts to the small scalp on SPY, out 30%. Beautiful job, MEC SSR. Again, guys, make sure to like the video. Let's get the likes up. 150 likes before 10:30. We'll be in good shape for the giveaway. Anyone still holding through that after taking profit? Down for the day. Beautiful job, Michael. Still in, okay. Just manage accordingly. Adjust your plan as you see fit. Okay. Adjust your plan as you see fit. IW is the one that's been clean. The Qs, nice bounce on the Qs off that 648.76. It's just SPY that's stuck in the mud today. Okay, SPY. Qs starting to fuel up here. Starting to go. Again, if everything can simultaneously go, Qs will go, SPY will go as well. IW is the MVP. So far this week, IW is the MVP. The front runner, I should say. Front runner for MVP for this week, IW. Qs are starting to wake up. So even if you didn't take that trade, even if you are just watching, right, I want you to take away the things that we were discussing earlier. Right, there's a certain thing we wanted to see for the Qs first to get lifted above this level. Okay, there's a certain thing we wanted to see with the Qs. That's why context is so key. Market context is so key. We can see the Qs. We wanted the Qs to reclaim that weekly open, that VWAP, and that pre-market low. That's the lift that we needed to get. And now if the Qs can start to push, everything can start to push. The Dow gets above that 498.09, we'll be good to go. Okay. So if you took that last trade, dollar signs in the chat. If you're still holding, good. As long as it's part of your plan, TP at some point. Beautiful job, guys. Good. See if we can hold above that 7-11. Anyone else? Amazon. Okay, Senate confirmation hearing. Let's take a listen. Okay, completely forgot about that. Senate confirmation hearing. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen.
Outside its jurisdiction. Under the Biden administration, the Federal Reserve appeared to move with the political winds, raising real concerns about politics and weaponizing one of the most powerful weapons we have for good economically, the entire Federal Reserve System. For example, under the Biden administration, the Fed pushed climate-focused initiatives only to reverse that climate agenda as soon as President Trump took office. When actions appear to shift with changing political priorities, it can undermine confidence in the independence of this great institution. An independent Federal Reserve is essential to achieving its mission. Markets depend on it. Families depend on it, and that independence must be protected. The American people expect the Federal Reserve to stay focused on the economy, not politics. Today's hearing is an opportunity to refocus the Federal Reserve on its dual mandate.
You guys can see how strong that 7-Eleven is, guys. 7-Eleven is a good TP area. I'm keeping a close eye on Meta. I'm keeping a close eye on Meta. That's 680s possibly. Yeah, the 680s. Okay, we'll keep a close eye on that. We'll continue to listen.
Session. During his first term as governor, he helped our economy through the crisis and restored faith in the economy. He has seen the economy in its darkest days.
Okay, I want Meta to pull back just a little bit here. Meta kind of just took off here. Okay, I want Meta to pull back just a little bit. Shockwave on Meta. All right. If you took Meta, you can have a preliminary target at 676.44. Meta is a mover. Meta is a mover. Meta is a mover. Tesla's starting to come into play, but again, Tesla does have earnings. Palantir, good night. Palantir hit TP1. Okay, look at this slow grind higher. Meta, that was nice. Meta. QQQ 60%. That bounce is beautiful. Microsoft 423.50. Yep, 423.50. That's a good area. That 423.13 is that retest of that dead upside breaker. See if Meta can come back in here just a little bit. Apple, if Apple can't hold that pre-market low, Apple can start to slide. We can start to see a breakdown on Apple brewing. Okay, so Meta will be a make or break setup. Right back to VWAP or scale out or hit target if it comes to fruition. Ideally, we need everything to line up. Meta is having a hard time with this 50% retrace today. Okay, so Meta is right at that smack dab in the middle of prior day's range. Is having a hard time there, so that can be an issue at that 675.69. All right, so I did provide a small little scalp. Didn't end up taking it. And if they can wick out of here, push back the upside, I will be interested. All right, if it can get back above it, I will be interested. If not, if it wants to completely push the downside, I'll let it be. But you can see SPY continuously pushes, gradual push. Gradual push here. So that key zone that we discussed didn't have the prettiest interaction with that key zone. Nonetheless, I did have that interaction where it came into it, started to bounce, starting to go. All right, sometimes interaction can get ugly. It can get a little violent, but still be positive. Okay. That 15-minute candle doji on Meta. So Meta off the table. Let me go to Apple. Apple CEO stepping down. Okay, so let's see if Apple can start to break down. If it can hold that PML. Apple will be interesting. I want that failed double bottom on Apple. If you can fail that double bottom, Apple opens up. If Meta can get back above that trigger, I can readdress Meta. If not, okay, I have an alert on Meta at 674.88. Okay, Apple. Hopefully the IV on Apple is not jacked up. Apple, puts on Apple. Okay, IV's, that's fine. IV's fine on Apple. Looking at the 270s on Apple. Retrace, reject. Apple. Again, hit target. 1 hour risk. Hit target on Apple is what I'm looking for. Okay, see if Apple can get a nice little bounce. Okay, Meta's coming back into play. Meta coming back into play. Okay, Apple is starting to go to the downside. So it looks like today there's been a lot of ripples. Ripple means it just breaks that level and goes. Right? So just some days it does that, some days it doesn't. But today, so if I get a retracement back into here, I'll look at Apple. But Apple, if you're in that, beautiful job. Meta's starting to pick up some speed here. I like how the Qs are picking up some speed as well. So instead of taking that entry, I don't want to sit through that drawdown. I just readdress it when the drawdown is there. Okay, looking at the 382s on Meta. Okay. Let's see if Meta can hold right there. Okay, I'll take Meta right there. Meta, the risk is here, 1 unit of risk, 1 full unit of risk. Right here, so no close back below this territory there in Meta. So in the Meta calls, ideally that 15-minute candle did go doji's indecisive. So I have a couple of hurdles on Meta, okay, that we need to get over. One of them being, of course, that 675.69, and the next one being that PMH. All right, so I'm going to pay attention to those areas. Those can be preliminary targets. If we do take Meta initially, it's not the cleanest, but it is primed to make a move if we can get above those areas. Meta, the 680s, average fill contracts a little pricey, 390. Anyone still riding SPY? SPY is now above that 611. Didn't get the best fill here on Meta, but we'll take it. I'm looking for that break of that 675.69 on Meta. Why is it showing? No, on this. Okay, and if we can get above that 675.69, we'll be good to go. Ideally, we want the Qs, everything else to go as well. Aggressive push on Meta needed. Okay, Meta, I'm going to use this VWAP, okay, as the NC. Little slightly before that level. Okay, slightly before that level. Meta's still inside. Okay, Meta's still inside there, so it can go a little back and forth. Let's take a listen here to the hearing. And I will babysit Meta as long as we don't close back below VWAP. Okay, it does have a couple of hurdles it needs to get back over. And that's the current position I'll be in. And ideally, of course, we need everything to push. Come back and retest some levels. That'd be fine as well. On the indexes. So you get that nice little push there. That downward compression. XLC, how's XLC looking? Is that above VWAP? XLC, okay, not doing much. Not doing much. Okay, so let's take a listen.
Mr. Chairman, last week, every single Democratic member of this committee asked that you postpone this hearing and instead conduct oversight on the president's role in directing bogus criminal probes into Chair Powell and Governor Cook. The Senate should not be aiding and abetting Donald Trump's illegal takeover of the Fed by installing his chosen sock puppet as chair. It's an invitation for corruption and for economic catastrophe. We have the power to stop it, and we should be using that power. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, there you have it. I'll just say it is interesting that we're going to hear from.
Meta headed towards VWAP, currently down 12. That might lead to a 15 to 20% stop if it does close back below VWAP. So almost getting stopped out there on Meta. Let's take a listen.
It's really a great honor to introduce my friend Kevin Warsh and welcome him and Jane here today. Kevin has been a friend for many years. Winston Churchill observed that for great leaders there comes, and I quote, a special moment where they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing. What a tragedy, he warned, if that moment finds them unprepared for that which would have been their finest hour.
Nice drop on Apple. Apple continues to drop there. Apple's below that daily downside breaker. Apple does have a catalyst. Everything's starting to sell off here. So for the sake of Meta, at least that daily open, if that can hold on SPY, that'd be favorable. Okay, if that daily open can hold on SPY, that'd be favorable. And that 648.76 on the Qs, if that can hold, that'd be favorable, as we're kind of running out of room here on Meta as it continues to slide. Scale out on Apple. It came down between Apple and Meta. Looks like Apple was the better pick there, but we'll see how Meta plays out. Let's continue to listen.
President George W. Bush famously appointed Kevin to the Federal Reserve in 2006 when Kevin was just 35. He was the youngest appointed board member in history. But President Bush saw in Kevin what I believe you will see in him with your questions today. Wisdom that belied his age, now deepened by experience. A moral clarity even in the most turbulent of times. A sharp and independent intellect, further strengthened by decades immersed in unforgiving global financial markets. And a deep, honest understanding of how the decision...
Make sure to like the video, guys. Make sure to subscribe. Does Meta have other contracts? No, I don't think Meta has other contracts. Right? If it's out of your price range, again, don't take it. If it doesn't, if the setup does not make sense, guys, right? Don't take it. All right? It's very important that you understand this is for educational purpose. Okay? And you understand that, hey, this is not signals. I'm not saying go buy Meta. I'm just saying what I'm doing, and I'm providing you the rationale to see if that aligns with the things you do. All right? So very, very important to understand that. All right? So let's get the likes up, guys. We're at 63 likes of 176 people. We're 7 minutes away from second shift. At this point for Meta, it's about getting those small wins. Small win for Meta would be get back above this territory up here. And, of course, the Qs stay above 648.76, and SPY stay above that daily open in the zone. All right, if we can get that small victory, at least we can make a nice little attempt at this resistance, okay? And, of course, make that attempt at that resistance. If it breaks out, it works. If it doesn't break out, it starts to fade, then eventually starts to work its way back to downside. It can lead to that stop. All right, so currently down 12% there on Meta. SPY back at that daily open. Let's continue to listen.
If confirmed, Kevin will inherit a Federal Reserve in need of repair and confronting serious uncertainty. An overextended balance sheet, a poor record on inflation, and a weak understanding of the profound opportunities offered in today's economy. He is uniquely suited.
Okay, we need that bounce off that SPY on that daily open. Meta's getting close to that VWAP, close to getting stopped out right there. The Qs are starting to give up that daily upside breaker. Let's take a look at XLC communications. Communications, they did get that break on communications, scaled out on communications. Because the biggest thing here, guys, on Meta is right here. So here. So that needs to hold as well. That trend line support. If that starts to fail, we fell below VWAP. Right. That's a good night for the setup. Okay. So that's where the invalidation marker is. Nice bounce off this will be great on SPY. VIX headed to the upside only at 1914. You can see how slowly it's moving. On the 15, Meta does have a doji candle inside as well. Apple might have been the one there. Okay, nice and clean. Gets that breakdown, continues to go. Scale out. XLC taking a slide here. So that's the sector that Meta trades in. So this needs to hold. Okay. Okay, SPY bouncing off that zone. That's favorable. In the meantime, Q's bouncing off that 648.76. Take a look at the 5 on Meta. Yeah, we can see not the cleanest chart. Right, we're just seeing if there's a run up from that PML to that PMH. SPY. See if that signal can last there. If you can get printed. And these are the April 22nd contracts. These are tomorrow's contracts. So Wednesday contracts. So has a little bit of time on it. Okay, we need that push off of that level on SPY. The Qs hold that. See if XLC can start to course correct. Okay. So at this point, it's just small victories for Meta. Okay, small victories are what matter. The first one being get back above that that initial trigger. If you did take this on SPY, manage accordingly. Okay, there we go, Meta. Okay, now we're at that resistance. So at this resistance, we need to have a positive interaction. We need to break that. Okay, we need to break that resistance. Shockwave on SPY. If you took that, manage accordingly. We need the VIX to start headed back towards that 19. That would be ideal. We know the VIX, our reliance is not there on the VIX. So now small victory would be a break and hold above this. For Meta, if we can do that, that'd be great. While we start to rally, small little bounce off that level on the SPY and the Qs. Okay. That'd be great. If it starts to reject and starts to put pressure back on this support and this breaks, this cracks, we get back below VWAP, then I'll get stopped out. Okay, let's take a listen. I believe Warsh is speaking.
I've heard different narratives at the outset of this hearing. This is a time of great consequence for the nation's economy. As a former Fed governor and friend or colleague of the last 5 Fed chiefs, from whom I've learned plenty of lessons.
Okay, Meta's starting to go. Okay, Meta's starting to go. That might be a target I have to use if we did start to get push. Okay, that's 679.69, 675.69. See if Meta can hold above that that resistance there. More than likely, SPY needs to hold this territory for us to capture ground. That can easily be a trap above there. Down goes the Dow. Down goes the Dow. Down goes the Dow. Yeah, that was a very biased statement by, I believe that was Elizabeth Warren. Okay, let's continue to listen. Meta rejecting off that resistance. NC's here. So again, it's either stop out or get back to 679, 675.69.
Nation gave me both of these. and I'm grateful. I made my way to Stanford and found myself in the company of some of the most highly accomplished economists and policymakers. George Shultz, former Secretary of State and Treasury, was among the great patriots at the Hoover Institution, who I came to know as a teacher, mentor, and friend. He passed away right after COVID at age 100, but I still feel him with me. I could not have imagined a better formative...
We got second shift coming up, guys. Second shift coming up, so keep that in mind. We can get a little bit of volatility coming in on the exchange. Right, second shift coming up. First shift, we did take a trade on SPY. That worked in our favor nicely. Double digits, the runners got stopped. And now we also babysitting a position here on Meta, currently down about 7%. Did see north of 16% drawdown as we head towards second shift. All right, so two trades today. One worked in our favor. One is still brewing. SPY is using this nice little trend line support. Meta can push it to that 675.69. That might peek us back into that break-even territory. If you took that last trade here, beautiful job, shock waivers. Okay, waivers, if you took that, good, good, good. Let's see if Meta can hold. So now I'm going to move my stop a little bit and use this trend line as my stop. Right? So I don't want a clear close of that trend line. So at least I'm making it a little tighter. So between that 10 to 12% territory. Okay, so for this to get back to break even, 675.69 will be the area. Microsoft moving nicely here. XLC starting to move. We have a new hourly candle. We're double inside on Meta here on the 15. So if we can take out that first 15-minute candle, we'll go 2-on-2. Okay. So who's done for the day? So they didn't give us a lot of opportunities. This was a nice bounce right here off that weekly open and that prior day close, and then we took advantage of that nice push based off that initial interaction of those levels. Q's still bouncing off that daily upside breaker. Dow starting to get sold off slightly, so see if the Dow can course correct. The Dow's lows are all the way down here, 496.29. SPY just hugging this territory here. Okay, so a lot of weight. The more time we spend at this territory we can't hold, it starts to get heavier. Okay, starts to get heavier, so we start making that push. If SPY starts to slide, that'll probably lead Meta to slide. So I want this to hold here. Down about 8%. So critical juncture here. Apple. Anyone take Apple? If you took Apple, that was a headache-free, stress-free move to the downside. Yeah, Meta's high stress. Okay. Okay, starting to crack here. If we don't get a response off that candle, we head towards VWAP, I'm going to close out. No response, no buyers there, I'll close out. Why? Because, let me put on a big chart. Because the biggest danger is this. Getting caught on that. Okay? That's the biggest danger. So giving it a couple of minutes here right off that trend line support. If that starts to break, get towards that VWAP, SPY starts to crack that zone, we can start to slide here. Okay, SPY, shenanigans are just kicking in. All right, so the Qs are starting to sell off. Okay, Meta holding that territory, but that's not favorable. Okay, the fact that we're starting to break down the indexes. Okay, on the verge here, getting stopped out on Meta. Okay, SPY completely breaking down here. Meta has not broken down yet. Okay, so it looks like Meta was able to absorb that. XLC is pushing a little bit. So we need to get above this. Those highs are on Meta. SPY now is at that 710. So does it want to use that 710 as that bounce? Apple just moving smoothly, guys. Apple moving smoothly. Already at TP1. So this level needs to break. Okay. This level needs to break here. Okay, on Meta. And look at that bounce off that 710. Shenanigans is here. All right, shenanigans is there. That BH break hold territory needs to hold. If it doesn't, then I'll close out this Meta position. Microsoft hit TP2. Looks like I might have went with the wrong horse. Or the slow horse. All right. Let's see if we get that nice push to 675.69. The Dow selling off. SPY is starting to sell off here. Interestingly enough, Meta's pushing higher as XLC holds. So this might be a solo mission by Meta. Towards that 675.69. Okay, Meta's starting to go. Okay, so we need some sort of relief pop here. We have that daily upside breaker on SPY here, prior day highs. That's what we're bouncing off of here. 675.69 coming out of Meta. We need that break until you push. Okay. Okay, Meta's starting to wake up. Okay, starting to wake up. But again, it's not fully awake unless it gets above 675.69. All right. If it can't get above that, it wakes up and it rolls back over. Now, Q's nice bounce off that 648.76, holding still. They're holding that level. SPY is seeing some selling pressure here. I want this break hold territory to at least hold. At least give us some wicks. At least buyers defend that. If they can, that'd be great. So I know the stop on Meta is between 10-15%. If that break hold zone fails and SPY fails back below that daily upside breaker, I'll close Meta out. Okay, I'll close Meta there. All right, so stopped out 12% on Meta. So I gave it a chance. Now we're starting to sell off here. I'm out of Meta. So took a stop out on Meta, 12%. All right, couldn't get any momentum on Meta. Apple just continues to go. It was just coming down to Meta and Apple. That's what it's coming down to. Look at Apple, on the other hand. Okay, look at Apple on the other hand. Right. Nice, smooth move to the downside. And you know, if you're still in Meta, again, if your risk is a little more modified than mine was, all right, so maybe you still trust in the setup. Maybe you still like the setup. It's holding that trend line support. But to be honest, unless it gets a nice hold out of that BH, I don't want, because it can start to slide really quickly. Let me give you an example. It can start to slide really quickly. All right. It can start to slide really quickly. So just scalp. That can't hold, so I already got stopped out there. I think from the very beginning, the fact that the entry was like here, right, did give me a lot of room for error. But again, once it's goes past that invalidation mark, I got to get out of there. If you take a look at Apple, That was clean. MSFT. Clean as well. TradeRuns was talking about MSFT this morning. Right. Very, very clean. Make sure to like the video, guys, on YouTube. Let's get the likes up. Okay, now SPY hold falls back below that daily upside breaker. You can start to really slide. There's a last spot. So I like that close. I like that close on Meta. Right. I gave it as much long enough leash. I don't want to give it too long. Stop that on SPY. SAT mug with a wiki candle that says shenanigans. That's the next merch idea. Nvidia starting to break as well. Patel. SPY's headed back to the downside. So in this case, Shockwave stopped out there. Shockwave in this case, it's TP. If you take it to the scalp, that was good. Now we're basically going to fall back into prior day's range. Okay, let's just zoom out real quick and see where we are. So again, IW. If IW can start to pull back into this territory here. 278.58, I got to catch IW. SPY and the Qs are really hugging prior day highs. Okay. So I like that close on Meta. If I decide to stay in that, to give you some context. Okay, those contracts were 390. Okay. If I decide to stay in that, they're at 340. So no, sorry, 320. Okay, that'll probably be a 20-25% stop. All right. So the whole objective of when you're wrong, don't be wrong for long. We're getting a nice little relief here. Here we go. We're starting to wake up. We are starting to wake up once again. Shenanigans. Let's take a listen.
Question,
Before I
Mr.
take the oath
Warsh,
of office.
and that is, will you disclose how you divest those assets, or will you just collect a check for $100 million from someone whose whole business is betting on what the Fed will do?
As I said to the ethics officials at the Federal Reserve and the Office of Government Ethics,
I'll
and they agreed,
take that as a
I
no
would be
as well.
redeeming my
So
assets
Donald
before
Trump
I take
has made
office.
clear that he does not want an independent Fed. In fact, he has said, and I quote, "Anybody that disagrees with me will never be Fed chairman." And he's made clear that you are his sock puppet, saying last week that interest rates will drop, quote, "when Kevin gets in." Yeah, I think they do. Not when economic.
Is it me or is the hostility necessary? Or is it just me, or is it she's coming out the gate swinging today?
Trump wants. So independence takes courage. Let's check out your independence and your courage. We'll start easy. Mr. Warsh, did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
We try to keep politics, if I'm confirmed, out of the Federal
I'm just
Reserve.
asking a factual question. I need to know, I need to measure your independence and your courage.
Senator, I believe that this body certified that election many years ago.
That's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking, did Donald Trump lose in 2020?
And I'm suggesting you in 2020, the
suggesting you
Fed
can't
made
answer that.
a huge inflation problem, and you certified the election.
So
You
let
need to
me
keep
ask you
politics
another
out of
question.
monetary policy.
In our meeting,
monetary
you said
policy out
you
of
would
politics.
be independent because you're, quote, a tough guy. Those were your words, tough guy. And you will be able to stand up to President Trump. So let's try it again. Name one aspect of President Trump's economic agenda with which you disagree.
Well, Senator, the Federal Reserve in recent years has wandered outside of its remit, wandered into other
I'm
areas.
asking for something
That's
you
not something I'm
disagree with
prepared to
Donald
do.
Trump on.
If I'm
Just
confirmed,
one
the Federal
one
Reserve should stay in
economic
its
issue.
lane.
Just one little.
It's pure comedy, guys. Pure comedy. All right. So in the meantime, the market is just toying with everyone. Last trade Meta did get stopped out. Just to give you some context. All right, so again, I like that stop out. Could have gave it more breathing room, but it's just not, almost dead on arrival. Right, had that nice little push at the cleanest entry, started to get some sort of relief, adjusted the risk. So I made that risk a little dynamic instead of having it all the way down here. All right, we're able to identify that trend line and say, hey, you know what, let's fix it to there. All right, so just making that the window a little tighter to make sure that loss is very tight. All right, so we'll look for the next opportunity. Now let's continue to listen.
I want to take an opportunity just to kind of perhaps give you an opportunity to respond. I know that the ranking member had a number of items that she expressed concerns with. I'd like to give you an opportunity to just kind of work this way through. And let me just ask you a few questions, and I'll allow you to take the time to fully answer the questions. As I understand, Mr. Warsh, you worked with the career ethics professionals at the Office of Government Ethics and at the Fed to come to an agreement in terms of your dissolution of some of the assets that you as a businessman have. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator, that is correct. I worked with the Fed ethics officials first, answered all of their questions, then with the career professionals, the Office of Government Ethics.
Potential inverse cup and handle brewing. We do have this major support here. If that fails, then that slide comes into that 50% retrace. Now we're in the heart of prior day's range. We did gap up to open things up today. We did fill that gap back to the downside and then bounce off that bottom of the gap to the upside. All right, so this zone has been really sticky for us today. All right, if it continues to become sticky, so we didn't have enough fuel to push all the way there, we just stopped there. All right, so as we continue to push, we're gonna come into this trend line, this channel's trend line. All right, and let's see if we can create some sort of separation. If we get sticky to this zone, guys, a lot of back and forth awaits us. If we can break that trend line support, we have room to that 50% retrace of yesterday's range. And if we can bounce off it, we have room back to that daily, yesterday's daily upside breaker. As of now, we're below view up across the board. The Dow's selling off. The IWM's coming to test that PMH. And potential inverse cup and handle brewing. So up here, right, once it gave you that TP, it started to come into that territory. That's when it started to fade, and you can kind of feel the divergence up there. And we talked about how 711 is a very strong level. Right? If you were watching last week, that level came from last week. Look at that, guys. Anyone riding the puts? Anyone riding the puts to the downside? Look at that. Nice little sell off there. Again, guys, folks on YouTube, let's get the likes up. 150 likes. Let's get to 100 first. We're 30 likes away. We will do the giveaway. Let's try to get there before 11 o'clock. Let's continue to listen.
Of stable prices is a little different than most academics. I believe that price stability should be a change in prices such that no one's talking about it. That's an old-fashioned definition, but I think it's still valid. The sooner that we can reform the institution with my colleagues, if confirmed, the sooner we can ensure price stability, and we can have a new set of leaders atop the institution with high, credible, ethical standards to return the Fed to what it should be. The independence that both Chairman Scott and Senator Warren mentioned, critically important, but independence has to be earned. And it's earned by delivering on the promises, the commitments that the Fed has made. And as the Fed hasn't delivered on those promises, we shouldn't be surprised that...
Yeah, oil is pushing higher. Right, oil is pushing higher. It's back above that 50% retrace. Right, starting to work its way up here. Okay, oil is starting to push. That equilibrium was at 87.54. As oil pushes, that's what's kind of giving us that nice little fuel. VIX is also kind of bouncing off that 19. What really fell off the cliff, guys, was gold. Good night, gold. Right, gold just fell off right there. trading below prior day lows. So we are seeing a sell-off in the precious metals. You can see gold right there below yesterday's lows and headed towards that 4,700 territory. 4,700 is at 47 in the 20s now, high 20s. IW failed to hold that level. IW is headed back towards that daily upside breaker. So we're seeing synchronized selling across the board. Synchronized selling across the board.
Government ethics certification, which requires that all nominees disclose all of their assets, and showing that Mr. Warsh is out of compliance and that he has not met the ethics requirements.
But without objection, I will note, however, that what has been clearly articulated is that he will, according to his agreement with OGE, do what many others have done as well within 90 days, be not only in compliance, but to have divested himself from any assets that are in question.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask? I don't think we've had other nominees who are out of compliance and not disclosing at the time they come before the hearing.
Not on this committee, that's correct.
Not in this committee.
Here's what we're not going to do.
Okay, just be careful trading, guys. Anything can happen here with them going back and forth. So let's continue to listen.
What we're also not going to do is debate what we're putting into the record. And finally, what we are going to do is have a conversation about America's economy. And frankly, we all deserve the opportunity to ask our questions. We don't get to figure out the answers, but we do get to ask our questions. And I hope that we are able to continue in that direction. As long as we are, we're going to have a very good hearing. And if we're not, then I will find a way to help us expedite getting back on track. Senator Reid.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Walsh. Until you dispose of all the assets you've identified to the Office of Government Ethics, you will not be in compliance. Is that correct?
That's not my understanding. My understanding is that a signed ethics agreement provides duties and responsibilities on me and duties and responsibilities on the government.
Okay, we'll grab first shift's lows. The Qs are back below that PML. The Qs are back below that weekly open. Okay. So that failed double bottom will open the gateway for that continued selling into that daily 50% retrace. We're seeing a nice continued push on VIX here. We're putting some pressure on trend line support on the 15. So does that line hold? Do we hold here or do we fold? Hold or fold? Hold or fold? IW's headed towards that daily upside breaker, 277.66, 277.66. 58%. Beautiful job, Firefly. If that 5-minute candle can go hammer, there can be an opportunity back into that PML. See if the Qs can do that as well. Everything is below VWAP. Qs are below VWAP. SPY is below VWAP. IWM is below VWAP. If we were to draw that next hand, if we were to draw that handle, all right, approximately. Again, this would be the healthy area for that handle. Okay, back in that zone that was earlier, that dead upside breaker we were discussing earlier. So great job of catching the downside, guys. Double bottom on SPY. Yep, that's what it's looking like. All right, nice bounce off that weekly. Nice bounce off of that first shift lows. So nice mean reversion there. If you did take that, you initially have room into 709.13. If you're allowing this to take place for it to set up a rejection, right? Let it come into those EMAs. Speaking of those EMAs, let's slap the EMAs on the chart real quick. I took them off temporarily. Let's put them on here. Okay, so these EMAs here on the 1. WMT, we're seeing a rotation into WMT. Okay, I'm looking at WMT, Walmart. Ooh. Looking at the 129s. On Walmart, we're rotating into Walmart. Again, I don't want that entry far away from that level. If you see if you can come back to that territory. A lot of this week has been about the entry, right? Sometimes you get that break. Sometimes you get that nice retest. Sometimes it just continues to go. Sometimes it revisits. So again, Walmart on watch as we go back to defense. See if Walmart can come with that 120.53. Looking at the 129 on Walmart. Ticker symbol WMT. Just come with that 120.54, 53 territory. Okay, nice rejection off the EMAs. Apple, be on the lookout for that flag. Apple is bouncing off that 50 EMA on the hourly after selling off nicely. Walmart. I had an impromptu work meeting. Closed earlier. IWM called 25%. Called IWM. Put 15%. 2 trades. Beautiful job, Lynn. Absolutely crushing IWM. If this starts to dump, everything continues to go. That Shockwave will come in. Right, so we're seeing that inverse push in Walmart. Let's take a look at our friend XOM. Anyone take Walmart? Again, guys, make sure to like the video on YouTube. Make sure to like the video. 706.70 break. Small puts on SPY. 706 gap fill. Which app are you using to trade options on gold? Just you can trade options via ETF, GLD. Okay, there goes those lows. You can see the inverse relation, guys. Walmart pumping, index is dumping. And now first to lead, first to bleed. Okay, first to lead IW dumping. Walmart pumping. Okay, let's see if XOM starts to wake up. So this is more of a rotation into defense. Okay, defense meaning consumer staples. Okay, it's kind of ran away from us. See if we can pull back a little bit. So when there's a massive candle like that, right, you're going to have to take the break. You have to have your settings to break. Look at that dump, guys. Okay, once it came collided with those waves, that was nice. To the downside, everything fell off a cliff. Beautiful job, guys. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. 110% for Firefly. 215% for retired Fido. 215% is 215%, guys. 94% for JB. Everything falling off a cliff. SPY below VWAP. SPY is now below that weekly open. SPY is now at that 50% retrace of the day. Okay, SPY is not that 50% retrace today. So this this hearing. Let it print, guys. Let it print. Okay, the printer is turned on. Puts. Okay, guys are in the puts. Trump's history, financials, and question ethics standards. So it's inevitable that his choice of chair is questioned. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to question everything. My only thing is the manner of the questioning. All right, that's all. Runners, beautiful job, Brian. Oh, that was nice. That dump was nice. Anyone else on YouTube catch that? Wow, that was nice. That's 7-11. Once we couldn't get above 7-11. Now we're at that. We came into here. We broke this channel. We're below that daily 50% retrace, and now we're headed towards this bounce zone here and that hourly 50 EMA. Okay. 341% last contract. My goodness, guys. This is a pretty nice, this is a beautiful dump. I really started here. When it started to fade up there at 7-11. All right, got that nice little breakdown, and then it started. They got that initial relief pop, rejects, and completely collapses and continues to go. Yeah, there's a lot of FOMO, right? I can feel the FOMO here as well on my end. This thing potentially can go to 3 down, guys. 3 down meaning, right? It goes and bearish engulfing on the daily. That is up for grabs. We discussed that in the pre-market prep. We were discussing the scenarios. All right. For us to go bearish engulfing on the daily, we're gonna have to break below this territory here. Right. But only thing is, once we do get there, we're met with some buyers that might pick it up initially. All right, so far it looks like the Qs are right at that 50% retrace. The IW is headed towards 50% retrace today. The Dow just fell below the daily upside breaker. Crude continues to push. VIX is starting to wake up. Made a 65-cent move. Who else is riding this? Look at this, guys. Look at the people on our team. Look at the traders, the great traders on our team. Let's go. What do we got? What do we got? What was the last one? 341%, 175%, 227%, 205%, 128%. SPX, that's a home run, 94%. All right, so all that selling, guys. We're selling aggressively. Now, there is this catalyst here. SPY continues to dump, guys. Don't chase this. SPY's about to go bearish engulfing. Bearish engulfing on SPY coming up. Bearish engulfing on SPY coming up below 706.14. We're about to go 3 down on the daily. Let's get the likes up on YouTube. Let's get the likes up on YouTube. Let's get the likes up on YouTube, guys. Make sure to like the video. Anyone else riding the puts? Google Meets. Over 400%. Wow. 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 ExxonMobil is starting to go. Walmart continues to push. So we saw that rotation into defense out of the terrific 12. So we rotated into defense, took cover in defense. So the retrace reject is right here. If you're thinking of VWAP was all the way at that 70 in the 708s. Okay, so this sell-off was primarily driven by IWM to the downside. All right, and actually triggered the downside as well. So Shockwave on IW to the downside as well. So both sides, both bulls and bears got paid. So all eyes on the next flag. VIX is back above that weekly open. So SPY knocks out this territory here, guys. SPY goes bearish engulfing on the daily. So we went inside yesterday. We took out those highs. We trapped the buyers. And we dumped them all the way to the lows of the day. Prior day lows. But we do have a lot of levels in this territory. Okay, now we're coming to the jaws of this gap here. Okay, let me just draw it out for you. Let's go here real quick. At 50 MA. Let me take off extended trading hours. You can see. Okay, they have a nice little zone here between that 50 MA. At 20 MA without the extended trading hours. And we have this this gap here. All right, so for this to go further than where it is now, more selling pressure needs to come in. But now the question is some profit taking. All right, so that's where we are right now. In that bounce zone. We'll make this bright green because that's also that top of that bounce zone where we saw buyers step in previously. And now it's starting to go back the upside. So that's a great. I went to 3 TPs. Look at that. If you don't take profit, the market will. If you don't take profit, the market will. Microsoft testing VWAP and that 423.13. Apple, massive sell-off on Apple. That was gorgeous. That 90 man on the 5 is all the way up here. Okay, near that weekly. Just below that weekly open. Okay. Who's out on the puts? Who's done for the day? I want to see done for the day. Someone 40% on SPY, sold 80% on puts. 200%. Who's done for the day? Now buyers are picking this thing back up. VIX gets rejected off that 196.58. Not 1958, not 196. 1958. Nice bounce off VWAP and 433 on Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft is starting to get a nice push. So it comes right into that bounce zone. the top of that bound zone and gets immediately bought back up. Immediately gets bought back up, and guess what? VIX falls back below that weekly open. The Dow is bouncing off that weekly open. IWM was bouncing off the 50% retrace, 276.10. $55 to 302. Look at that, guys. That is what a flip. All right, so do we get that retrace reject or continue to buy up? We do have some room back to reverting to the VWAP. We do have the weekly open all the way here. Starting to make some strides here. Everything's starting to bounce off those lows. Buyers stepping back in. Look at that. Immediate bounce on IW. The SPY comes right to that 50 EMA on the hourly. Okay. IW comes right into that 50% retrace. 276.10. Q's sweep 645.65. Okay, the $1 million question is dead cat bounce or actual sign of reversal. All right, if we're going to go with dead cat bounce or actual sign of reversal, we'll have to do that 50-50. More than likely, that 50-50 will lead us all the way. And look at that. That 50-50 leads us right to this area right there. Right here. So that 50-50 is right there. So that's a 50% retrace of that initial move. Before that, the retrace reject area is right here. For me to go short here, I want to see a shooter on all of them, all the indexes going south. Shooter, 9 EMA rejection on the 5 would be the great way to go. So synchronized selling would be the only way to go short there. It's hard to see the EMA right there. Let me just make a little. Okay. Anyone take the bounce, back the upside. High risk bounce, but that was a quick bounce nonetheless. Okay, you took that, Wayne. Beautiful, beautiful. Back that 50% retrace of the day. Again, guys, let's get the likes up on YouTube. Let's get the likes up. We have 185 people joining us this morning. Took two trades today. Last trade stopped out on Meta. First trade, nice little scalp on SPY. SPY did take a nice dump to the downside. That was a beautiful dump. And let's get a quick update on what's going on here. Let's take a listen. Let's just jump in to listen.
You're going to be anybody's human sock pup.
No, I'm honored the president nominated me for the position, and I'll be an independent actor if confirmed as chairman of the Federal Reserve.
My friend Senator Warren, and she says my friend suggested that, I wrote it down, you will use your power, you might use your power to bail out your friends if they get in trouble, kind of like President Biden did with Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. She didn't say the last part, I just did. Are you going to do that?
No, Senator.
Okay. The ethics folks, they've cleared you, but they said you got to sell some assets. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And these assets that you have, you can't just hold a yard sale, can you?
No, not for most of them.
Okay, so it takes a reasonable period of time, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've promised to sell them, right?
I did.
And if you don't sell them, we'll know and the ethics folks will know, right?
Yes, I'd be in violation of the ethics agreement if I refuse to sell them.
But you're going to sell them, right?
Yes, Senator, I will.
Okay. Can we agree that politicians have the right to offer you advice about what to do with interest rates?
Senator, we can agree, and it's not something that I would shy away from. I've heard many senators from this very committee in years past express strong views on interest.
If you like that level to the downside for that rejection, look for an inverted hammer on the 5 on SPY. Inverted hammer across all the indexes, 3 of the 4 indexes. That would be good confirmation. Okay, slightly before that 9 EMA and take the break of those lows. We still have a little more room to climb. Unless we get a break of these lows down here, strikers. And we go hammer time across all of them. They all do the same thing. We might continue to push a little higher, a little closer to that 9. Currently, we are testing that 50% retrace today. Okay, we're headed towards that 9 EMA on the 5. Okay, this is the 50-50. That's the 50-50. If I take this short, we do see that hammer breakdown across the board. I will be going 5 for 5, 5-minute entry, 5-minute stop. Okay, 5-minute entry, 5-minute stop. Taking it back to downside for the second trade on SPY. I did miss that move to the downside, so again, not trying to chase it, but just trying to systematically get that nice little push lower. Okay, essentially, that's what I'm looking to see. Right, might have a little more room, right? So I might have a little more room, a little higher into that 50-50, but before 50-50. Okay, IW starting to break. I'm looking at the 707s here on SPY. Okay, that was a nice break. That took place so quick. Ooh, that took place so quick. And you don't take that below 707.74. Yeah, the entries are coming so fast, guys. They're so fast. Already triggered. You really got to be fast this week. If it can at least come back to 707.74, if you did take that, manage accordingly. Okay, that would be the rejection. Ideally, if the VIX can get back above 18.58, that'd be good. So you can see the synchronized selling across the board. All of them came to that level and rejected off of it. So if I can get a one run up into that 707.74, I'll be there. But if it continues to go, then right, I missed that entry. You took that, Gary. Beautiful job. Absolutely, Fido. I just managed accordingly. In this case, 5 for 5, meaning the risk is 5-minute candles high. The entry is a 5-minute candle as well. So just 5 for 5. That was nice. That should at least be a double-digit gain there. So all of them did that simultaneously. Let's see if we get one more push into this area. That's a good scalp. Yeah, the entries have been a little tricky past 2 days. I gotta say they have been a little tricky. The candles are just a little jittery. But again, once the risk is defined, once you outline the risk, you make the entry. All right, then the trade is just a trade. All right. Again, guys, make sure to like the video. Let's get the likes up. We only have 93 likes. We already had 700 plus people stop by today. If you're a first-time viewer, let us know where you're joining from. Long-time viewers, take the next steps. Jump in our community to access all the resources and tools. That is available to you. All that is linked, pinned in the chat. The chat is very, very split. Does SPY make all-time highs today? Does SPY make all-time highs today? 48% say yes. 52% say no. Okay, the Qs are getting bought back up. Qs are getting bought back up. The Dow's still selling off. IW is slightly getting bought back up, and the Jaw's that buy block. Short-lived scalp. Who's done for the day? Who's done for the day? I probably have one or two more trades left. 61 cents. If we fall back below 707.74, I'll take the 707s. Back the downside. Only issue is the strength in the Qs. Qs are running aggressively. So we're seeing divergence between the Qs and the Dow. And SPY's going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Apple. Wow. AMD, nice break on AMD. AMD was nice. Okay, scale out TP, comes in, goes. Okay, let's see if SPY gets back below that level. Okay, I want a nice hold back below 707.74. Risk being a close back above this candle's high. So risk being that NC would being up here. No close above there. Want to see a hold right there. I'll take the SPY short there. Okay, taking SPY to the downside there. I'm in the 707 puts. See if you get some follow through behind that move. Targeting these lows here. If you did take this, manage accordingly. TP where you need to. Up 8. Up 12. Take majority off right there. Okay. Down to runners. That was a nasty wick right there. So again, now as long as we don't close above this, I'll see if we can get back to the downside. Okay, for that dead cat bounce. Okay, so no close. Don't want to see us get back above that level. Okay, first TP already at at 12. If you did take this, manage accordingly. It's up 10%. Okay, that's a modest, very, very modest push in a matter of a few minutes. We do have some buyers trying to attempt to push this thing back higher. All right, so NC would be here, no close. So reclaiming that 9. Now the Qs did show some strength there. So we want the Qs to start to fade here. If the Qs can start to fade, give us a little room into that 707.32. That's that target. See if these runners can start to run back the downside. We do have this massive inefficiency there. That can give us a hard time, but we'll see what does take place there. Okay, we'll be there for it. Initial target 707.32, guys. That's that first target. Up 18. Beautiful job. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 16. TP where you need to. Okay, that's how you trade that dead cat bounce. 23. 24. Want us to stay below here. We have another critical level coming, so I want us to continue to push. Dollar signs if you took that. I'm going to move, stop right there. Okay. Who took that? First obstacle on our way is, of course, here, the top of the top of that inefficiency. We have a level there as well. That'll be an obstacle. Okay. See if these runners can break these lows. If we can, we'd be good to go. And I want the VIX to stay above that 1968. 20+%, guys. We don't want to spend too much time there. We want to slice and dice right through that level. I like how the Qs are dumping here. I like how the Dow is directional already. So the Qs take out those lows, will be good to go. We will go buy block, sell block on Qs in 10 minutes. Break these lows, we'll be good to go. Make sure you take TP, guys. Anything can happen anytime. Up 28, up 30. There we go. 34. Okay, I'll close right there at 34. All right. Close right there at 34. I have to do a little damage control from Meta, and that was a good recovery there. If you're still in it, you have a little more room to go. You can use it as your NC. Ideally, you want the VIX to stay above it, but I'll take it off at 34 there. Okay. Initial target with 707.32. Who took that? Anyone take that nice little scalp to the downside? Beautiful, beautiful, 10%. Good, good, good. 3 green trades, beautiful. That's how we do it, team. Who's still in? Who's diamond handing? Beautiful job, Gary. 125% puts, 1 contract. Let's go. We got the best team, guys. All right, this has a little more room. I have to lock in that 34, okay. Anyone else take that? If you did, congratulations. Puts ideas provided there. Dead cat bounce. We walked the whole thing, right? What to look for. So the entire setup on how to trade a dead cat bounce, the blueprint is right there within this juncture there. Why? Because, again, we saw this massive drop. Have nothing to show for it. Can't chase. Got to wait for something, some sort of retracement. Okay, wait for some sort of retracement. Who's done for the day now? Who's done for the day now? Who's done for the day now? That's how we do it. Okay, and that is the sign of great risk management, Firefly. Right? It's your system allows you to lose more frequently than you win, but your wins cover your losses. It's the inverse of the old way. Right? It's almost like you win so much, you win a lot as far as frequency is concerned, but that one loss takes out all your wins. But you just flip that logic on its head, right? And again, if you're wrong for a very short period of time for very little, right? If you catch a decent trade, you can easily make that back up, right? And that goes directly to your ability to manage risk. All right. So again, beautiful drop there. Okay, so if you're looking to learn how to trade those dead cat bounces after missing it, this is the FOMO cure. Okay, you want to take a trade to the downside, has a massive push. Sorry about that. My son came to the office. Okay, so what we're saying is, again, this drops. A lot of our team members are crushing it. They're in this. They're in position. Multiple triple-digit gains. All right? They did their due diligence. They're in before the break. Wherever they got in, whatever system they used, they define risk. They get rewarded. So on the other hand, if you are not in this, right, it's very difficult. It looks like it makes sense just to buy low anywhere and you get compensated. But it's important for you to wait. Okay, if you're in the drop, thumbs up. If you're not in the drop, you don't know when the pop is going to come. And if you have a bad entry, you can get caught. So let it completely flush out. Let it bounce. Mark out your 50. If there's a level below the 50, because sometimes the bounce is not strong enough to get to the 50, we have this key level here, and it starts to show weakness before the 50, align that with all the other indexes. What are they doing? And you can use a 5 for 5 method. Okay, the 5 for 5 method meaning you're using a 5-minute candle. Your entry and your stop will be that 5-minute candle. And that's how you take advantage of the dead cat bounce. Okay? And that's exactly how you take advantage. IWM 25%. Beautiful job, guys. SPX puts. I was able to do $1,600. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Where's the breaking news? So if we break that 706.14 team, bearish engulfing candle coming up on the daily. Okay, bearish engulfing candle coming up on the daily. Again, guys, make sure to like the video. 150 likes. We're within striking distance. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So both the trades on SPY worked out beautifully. And now let's go back to that meta trade, okay? Meta trade. Because this illustrates the importance of being wrong. When you're wrong, don't be wrong for long. If I decide to just be trade with my ego and not be wrong, all right, I'm already down about 12% here when I closed, all right? And guess what's going to happen here? This is not SPY. When you trade these individual names that have massive ATRs, they start to move. That's a $4 drop. That's over 70% down. So why would I, when I'm wrong, I'd rather be wrong for a little bit and not wrong for long, rather be wrong for a lot for a long time. Right? So it gets invalidated. This starts to crack. Close out. All right? Because if you don't close out, think of it like this. It's either you get stopped out or you get wiped out. You choose. When you're wrong, it's either you get stopped out or you get wiped out. And the choice is yours. All right? The choice is ours. The choice is mine. The choice is yours. Okay? So don't be wrong for long. See profit, take profit. That's the recipe. All right? We'll probably have one more lotto left. All right, a little bit more trades this week, a little more frequency in the trades. All right, yesterday I did take NVIDIA late day. I provided that to our team. Okay, was able to extract some profits there. I took about 6 trades yesterday. Today we're at 3, so we'll probably have one more left. We'll be done. If you're done, again, be done, guys. If you're green, stay clean. A lot of you did phenomenal on that drop. You stayed patient. Okay, now the biggest danger becomes giving back that profit. So just in time for third shift. Okay, this drop here, I'm targeting this territory right there. Okay, that's 707.32. We get a little below it. I squeeze a little more out of it and then eventually close. Okay, so it's very, very tricky, guys. Very, very important. Now for us to get that market structure shift, we have this high we need to take out. Okay, this 50% retrace. And now buyers stepping back in. If you chase, it's going to be very dangerous, guys. All right, who's done? Who's done for the day? Who's done for the day? Who's done for the day? Okay, me win should be only the reverse $50 back. Absolutely, guys, that adds up. Up 17% on my portfolio. Wow, beautiful job, Wayne. 17%. You beat SPY in one day. All right, ready to change the oil on my Mustang safely. I hope it's not a Mustang EV. Only V8, V8s. All right, this hearing continues to go. If we get another clean setup like that, again, I'll take it. Nothing clean. I'm leaning towards mean reversion here. The closer we get to my key zone. Okay. So I know that 50 EMA is there. So again, now by end of day, by EOD, or by getting close to end of the day, right? This 50 EMA, if we hang out there by the end of the day, we start dropping below it. Okay, we'd start doing this, and then we get close to the end of the day. Okay, if we get, I might entertain a nice reclaim for a one-day trade off of this if we hang out here. Or if we drop below it, reclaim it aggressively. All right, even though we go bearish engulfing, that 50 EMA, right, oftentimes, that our last encounter was this, off of a key zone. Right, and the very next day, we pushed higher. So this is our first test of that 50. Okay, so you can see both our zones come into play. All right, so we'll consider what does take place there. Okay. All right, so another rejection off here. Continues to fade, lower lows. Do we get lower highs? Do we get that lower low back below that daily downside breaker? If we do engulfing candle on the daily coming up. We'll take today's stream until 12:30, guys. Can you quickly look at Google? Yep, absolutely. Google. Googly goog. We took Google yesterday. Okay, that was our one green trade yesterday. Goog did provide the calls. Nice little push. Faded back to the downside. A lot of scalps today. Key level bounce off that daily upside breaker. Somewhat of an inverse head and shoulder possibly brewing. If we make these lower lows, then that's off the table. All right, so maybe inverse head and shoulder between this territory for that right shoulder. As long as those lows don't get taken out, there's a possibility for us to bounce in this key zone. If the market can catch a nice little relief pop. If we continue to sell off, lower lows coming in on Google. Google in relation to prior days range, we are above that daily upside breaker. So we are leaning towards that bullish or structurally bullish on Google in relation to, no, that's that daily downside breaker. Let me take that back. We're structurally bearish in relation to prior days range. All right. So let's see what does take place there on Google. So inverse head and shoulder intraday watch on Google. We are officially bearish engulfing on SPY. Okay, we went 3 down. Very sneaky, but we got it done. All right, so if you take a look at your daily candle, guys, as of now, that daily candle, we engulfed. I mean, we did gap up, right? But we engulfed that entire day's range. Today's entire day's range. Okay, so let's see, we get that nice little bounce, and now we're working our way into the jaws of the gap up. And so we have a gap up here that we have to address. Let's take this off real quick. Go to the real time right here. Okay, that's where we are. So we're existing up here. We teleported up there. We get that structural break. Slide to the downside. Testing that 50 EMA. Testing that daily downside breaker. So this is our first real structural breakdown, first real sell-off that we saw intraday since this parabolic push to the upside. We have not seen anything like this in that last little stretch. So this is a nice little healthy, about a less than a 1%, 0.7% sell-off, about a 5-point drop. Okay, if we go from peak intraday, about a 5-point drop. Okay, from the highest to the lowest. All right, so that's healthy. Okay, not even 1%. All right, so that's where we are as of now, guys. That's where we are as of now. We continue to sell off. IWM, guys, has been the MVP this week. So, again, I'm going to have to shift my focus, keeping a close eye on IW over the next few weeks, over the next few days, because those opportunities are nice. Okay. Let's continue to listen here.
Committee and what I've frankly been writing about for more than a decade. Interest rates are the much better way to be using monetary policy than buying bonds and mortgages, some of which are issued from the United States Treasury Department. That is a confusion of roles. That leads to a set of mission creep. So interest rates are the dominant tool, and interest rates, as I mentioned, get in the cracks. My broad view on the conduct of policy from here is that too many Fed officials, past and present, opine in advance about where they think interest rates should be next meeting, next quarter, next year. I think that's quite unhelpful. As we've heard today from many of your colleagues, we don't know the state of AI. We can't be certain about the state of geopolitics. The economy is going to change. You need central bankers that are humble, that are nimble, that are open-minded, that can react when we have good data, when events strike us. My broad view is that interest rates need to be forward-looking, need to be based on better data, and we should have a big, robust deliberation inside the FOMC. I tend to favor messier meetings than some, where people don't show up with rehearsed scripts, but we can have a good family fight. If the central bank has that good family fight, I think that they're going to make better decisions. And if they happen to make mistakes, they'll correct them sooner. So I'm not one for...
Okay. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Audio check. These are trying to break down Meta, Tesla, Google. Let's take a look at it, guys. Meta, Tesla, Google. We'll take a look at it on the 15. Watch out for that inside candle or hammer / doji sweep of those lows, then a two candle reversal off that 50. Okay. Let's take a look at Meta. So Meta, this is just intraday on the 15. Let's go to the hourly real quick. Okay, let's just jump over to the hourly. We know Meta. Somewhat of a head and shoulder on Meta-ish in that resistance. Did fell back below that 50 EMA on the hourly. Meta starts to fail to hold this major support. All right, major support on the hourly. We can start to see Meta slide back to downside. On the 15, so think of the 15 as the intraday. So when you're trading, guys, it's very important to understand, of course, the daily, the weekly, all those things, but there's all the opportunities on the intraday can be fueled by the higher time frames, but sometimes those intraday opportunities, if you're scalping, can be clean based off of the intraday interactions off those levels. All right, but the ones that are really great are the ones that have alignment with all the time frames. All right, so we can see on Meta, if Meta starts to crack below this territory, if you can't hold here, we can start to slide. Why? Major resistance territory here on the higher time frames. Right, so that breakdown is possibly brewing. I do see that. I do agree. Patel. Tesla, on the other hand, Tesla does have earnings. Very similar kind of formation on Tesla too. You guys see it. If you see it, if you see this, put me in the chat. Okay, nice head and shoulder on Tesla. Sloping support. Okay, starting to break down there. Tesla does have earnings. 50 EMA being put to the test on the hourly. Also another breakdown brewing on Tesla. I do agree there as well. And last but not least, Goog. All right. So again, a lot of the names are coming to test that 50 EMA on the hourly. Goog, a bigger picture. Let's go to Goog on the 4. On the 4 hour. The overhead resistance on the 4 hour. Have a little room to run. A little bit of room is up there on the 1 hour. All right, just might be just running out of fuel there on Goog. Again, Goog tends to come to that 50 EMA, spends a couple hours there, and then makes that push. All right, so let's see if that kind of takes place as well. Somewhat of a head and shoulder type of situation there on Goog as well. All right, so those names, I do see those breakdowns possibly brewing. Goog, we can say as far as this nice trendline support on the hourly that starts to crack, and that 50, put some pressure on that, and we start to slide. I do see that. So what does that translate to on SPY? That translates to this on SPY. So again, For those names to start to slide, more than likely, SPY needs to crack that 50 and break below this key zone. It's hard for me to believe that we're going to slice and dice through this territory with minimal participation from the bulls. So I do see the bulls trying to put up a fight here, because this is an area worth putting up a fight for. That means I can start to slow down the selling or even generate a bounce off that level. All right, as we can see that take place on the 15 here. All right, so this is a target area for those shorts. If you're looking for shorts from this point on, think of it like this. If we're at support, okay, simple example. If this is support, okay, we can all agree this is support, all right? It's going to be a tough way to make a living if you short into support. All right, sometimes it works, meaning you're front running a break, you're front running the move, but 8 times out of 10, if you're shorting into support, right, that you don't have a good entry. Okay, you are flying too close to the sun. Okay, so if you're looking to go short on support, you need the support to get that decisive break. If it doesn't get that decisive break, more than likely, right, we're going to see support be support. Okay. So now for this support to get invalidated, you're going to have to get that decisive push lower. So it needs to be, that's when the UPO comes into play until proven otherwise. Okay, so very important. All right, so that's where I do see those things take place on the names you mentioned as Volatile. Done for the day. See you guys tomorrow. George, how about a training video on how to look for dead cat bounces? Absolutely, we can work on that. All right, I need to get some more videos out there. Okay, that is another one, dead cat bounce video. So we can do that. If you're still in this after that puts there starting to slow down there, starting to run out of room. Okay, if you took profits already, congratulations. If you're still holding runners after taking profits and you're looking for that breakdown below this territory, the next, of course, hurdle is that 706.14. Below that is at 705.78. Okay, if you're just using the EMAs to try to squeeze more out of those puts, those runners, right? And if your entries in this territory, you might have a shot of squeezing a little bit more. If your entries in this area, if your entries below that 706, if it's below 707, let's just say that, then you're kind of just flying really close to the sun. Okay. So very important for us to understand that. Okay. So a dead cat balance video that'll be on its way. Let's take a listen here.
I appreciate the question. We will have the answer submitted for the record.
I know you wanted to attend Morehouse College. I'm sorry.
Everybody wants to attend Morehouse, by the way, but I'm a Charleston Southern Buck. I appreciate we're very happy about that. He couldn't get into Charleston Southern, but it's good you got it somewhere. This is good.
If you can't get into Morehouse, go to Stanford.
Everybody's got jokes up here, so we'll go to Senator Brett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get started, I want to emphasize that transparency and accountability at the Fed are absolutely vital. The American people need to have trust in our government. We need to have trust in our government agencies, and that includes transparency and accountability at the Fed. So when we're talking about billions of dollars being spent on renovations, it's absolutely appropriate for Congress to ask questions. And it is absolutely appropriate for Congress to get answers. We need to understand where this substantial amount of money has gone, and we need to ensure that every institution, including the Fed, is always making decisions that are in the best interest of the American people. And so I urge everyone involved to make sure that any outstanding questions on this matter come to fruition so that we can get answers and move on and have a smooth and timely transition.
Okay, we got a comment in the chat. Okay, some 0DTE puts. Yes. 0DTE puts down 15K. You take the puts, maybe. Where's your entry for the puts? What time was the entry? Shredded trades. Okay, so you just need some context on that trade, right? So just depends on what percentage you're down, right? 15K can seem like a lot, but if it's a small percentage of the total amount that you're down, smaller percentage of your account, then that might be the risk you're taking. All right, but if it's more than 50, 60% down, more than likely that's beyond your risk. Right? It just depends on what you were seeing, right? So what you were seeing, if the thesis you laid out to initially take the trade is no longer valid, more than likely you have to be out of that trade. If it's still valid, okay, but you're just teetering about to get stopped out, you're still within your risk, all right, then I would say sit through it. But if it's completely invalidated and now it's just a matter of hoping for something to take place, and hope becomes a primary strategy, then I would say what I'll do is I'll just close it out. All right, but I cannot tell you what to do. Done for the day. IWM calls 45%, puts 43%. Thank you. Beautiful job, guys. Beautiful job, Brenda. We're getting close to 12 o'clock, guys. We'll go over the ways to join our community, what we have to offer. We'll go over all those things, and then we will look to wrap up here shortly. All right, so I want to see if I can get a lotto in here, but I'm okay with the trades that I took today. So entry, very critical. So you can see there's a difference between last week and this week. The opportunities are still there, but they're on the other side of being patient. Okay, yes. How many contracts do you trade? So it depends. If it's SPY, usually between 20 to 30 contracts, upwards of 50 sometimes. If it's an individual name, if it's like a lotto, anywhere, like for instance, Meta. Those contracts were 390, so 5 contracts. Right, so if it's an individual name, I don't have to give it as much. I don't have to monitor it as much. I'll use less size, less contracts. And it depends on the price as well. Right, but if it's SPY, it has my full focus. Right, especially if it's like a scalp, I'm taking that scalp for 10-15%. Right, it has my full focus. If I widen the risk all the way down to to conservative, right, and I'm just kind of letting it play out, then I'm looking for a larger return percentage-wise, as opposed to a smaller return percentage-wise. Because if you're using more contracts, all right, that's very friendly for scalping. Right, you can just take advantage of a quick pop. All right, it can be a quick exchange. So it just really depends, if that answers your question. SPX. No, I haven't traded SPX on live. I have traded SPX before, but the thing is, not a lot of people have the capital to trade SPX. Right, and SPX, of course, it has the contracts in $5 increments, okay? A little more costly. So instead of trading SPX, you can do 10 SPY contracts. Because if you have one SPX contract, you can't really babysit. You can't really take position off. You can't. It's just one and done. All right. So I would say you get a better bang for your buck, in my opinion, if you take 10 SPY contracts rather than one SPX. So at least you can maneuver your position accordingly with those 10 contracts. You can say, hey, I'm going to scale out. I'm going to leave some runners. Right. So, but SPX, yeah, SPX is a good name to trade as well. AMD's moving. AMD did move nicely earlier. This nice little bounce a couple of times. Did give us the puts here. Did get stopped out. Okay, quick stop out. Puts there again. Stopped out there twice. So in this case, Shockwave, you down 1R. Make 2R. So this will cover your loss there. Make 2R. So at the end of the day, it's just a game of risk reward. Okay? Game of risk reward. 150 likes is the threshold. We'll do the giveaway then, guys. We have about 6 minutes to go. We're almost there. Let's see if we can push it to 150. We already had over 700 people stop by today. So let's get the likes up. AMD's moving, yep. Who's done for the day, guys? I want to see the done for the days, especially strikers. All right, who's done for the day? Keep in mind, keep the week at the top of your mind. Keep the week at the top of your mind. Okay, one shift at a time, one day at a time, one trade at a time. Control the controllables. Okay, now we are at getting close to 12 o'clock. So as we approach 12 o'clock, what are some of these setups awaiting us? Of course, we have a lot of buyers stepping up here. So it's to say, hey, you know what? Let me just get on the same page as the buyers, buy it off support. That's one setup. Okay, that's one idea. Another idea is, okay, if this buying pressure does not present itself here, we get overwhelming selling pressure, synchronized selling across the board. Retrace, reject below that. But what needs to take place? We need more evidence to go short here than we do to go long. Hence it being support. Hence the fact that buyers showed their hand here multiple times. That's the essence of that's the essence of UPO. Until proved otherwise. Okay, it just simply means, if I can boil it down, you need more evidence here to go short than you do to go long. But both things need evidence. Okay, so that's where the idea is going to be, in this area. If we look for retrace, if we look for rejections, of course, up here. If we look for reclaims, up here as well. And we have that 50-50 all the way there. So these three areas are probably the areas you want to keep your entry or your idea tied to. Right? Anything in between is better to stay clean, because there's no real significant reactions, just regular price, chop, chop, chop. So we're looking to identify areas on the chart where we can have an outsized reaction in comparison to anywhere else on the chart. So the likelihood of us having a pretty decent reaction off of here, larger than anywhere else, is very high. Therefore, we want to look for our ideas to be in those areas where price can have those reactions, not just in any ordinary area. Okay, so that'll be the three areas. Okay, in this current juncture, and we already swept first shift's, second shift's lows here. Okay, so already swept those lows. What would this coincide with on the bigger picture? When we think of bigger picture, when we take a look at the game plan chart, let's just zoom out. That coincides with this bounce zone provided this morning. All right, so all these zones, guys, there's a lot of you that did join the team, guys. All right, keep in mind, they're posted here every single morning. All right, so get into the habit of getting these levels down here. All right, so you're prepared. You can take this into consideration. You can add this to the fold, into the things you're doing already. All right, you know that, hey, you know what? There's a bounce. There's a rejection. So when we start to reject, do we have enough fuel to really start to go to 50% retrace? And the levels. Okay. All of that is provided to you. And since we're jumping into the hard earnings season, I did post this here just to give you some context, because sometimes we're looking at it from a week to week standpoint. Okay, but if we zoom out, we do have Tesla reporting tomorrow, IBM, after that Intel, next week, Robinhood, Visa, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, SoFi, Alphabet, Apple. So next week, with the Fed decision, this is the heart of earnings. Okay, so out of our terrific 12, how many are reporting here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of our terrific 12 are reporting next week. 5, ExxonMobil is 1, 2. 5 of the terrific 12 are reporting next week. 1 reporting this week. So within the next 2 weeks, 6 are reporting. I would say between the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Within the next 8 trading days, 6 of them reporting earnings. All right, so we're just getting to the heart of earnings season, and of course we cap it off with where's the headliner Nvidia? Okay, Nvidia reports last. Okay, and then after that, the next we have Palantir. Okay, that's part of our terrific 12. We have AMD, Shopify, we have Disney, Fastly, Coinbase, Cloudflare. And it starts to get a little lighter. And we have Nvidia on the 20th. And Walmart there. So again, you can see we're getting into the heart of earnings season. From the 27th to the 1st, that's the heart. Especially next Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. So look at that. Look here, guys. Buyers piling in. Okay, so it's very important to attend that pre-market prep stream, guys. IW 276.10. There was 3 things we're looking at, 3 levels. And all the scenarios are laid out as well. Okay. So between the pre-market and the live, our first volume imbalance here in a long time. Okay. Between the pre-market and the live, it's just a matter of executing, sticking to the plan. Okay. That's the biggest task. I clicked the night button the night before. Okay. Yeah, for those of you who didn't like the video yet, guys, make sure to like to put yourself in position to win. It is 12 o'clock. We have about 30 more minutes, guys, before we wrap up the stream. We're going to wrap up a little early today. Okay. I do have the kiddos with me. They're off from school, so we can't go all day. Yep, inverse head and shoulder, left head, right. I do see that on the 1. Espetel. Brother, I'm so grateful for you. In the name of Jesus Christ, I declare you are helping so many people. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Just doing what I can, what we can do, guys. Just trying to help everyone. That's the whole point. All right. I was streaming in 2024 before. Again, the channel was much smaller. The audience was much smaller, of course. After that, I took some time off and then went back to trading on my own. Right, and it just didn't have the same. It just felt very dry. Okay, very mechanical. All right, so there has to be something greater, at least from my perspective, something greater. All right, so that also applies to a lot of you as well. There's something that you're good at that comes second nature to you. All right, it does, it can serve you. Yes, trading can serve me. But it can also serve more people if I can somehow, some way find a way to bottle it. Look at this shenanigans. If you're in the chat, doctor, we need your shenanigans meme. There we go. We're seeing that at least one to three times a day now. And guess what? As we come into the summer months, we're going to see shenanigans. We're going to see the shenanigans probably every hour. Absolutely, guys. Yep, the YouTube is always going to be here. All right, this is your go-to channel. The Discord is just for people who want to take it to the next level, who need more attention, who need more resources, who want the delay-free, ad-free stream, and who want to take the conversation offline as we cultivate our community. All right, that's what it's designed for. Who's done for the day? Let's see if anything is brewing on the individual name front. Apple. Apple's the one that got away. It was coming down to Apple and Meta. All right, Apple, just look at this, guys. And the early bird window for Shockwave is coming to an end soon. So again, make sure to take advantage. Apple came back, even gave us a retest as well. And this just, good night. Good night. Okay, good night, good night, good night. Look at Apple. Signal came in at 10:15. And this is going to really help us. Incorporating these individual names, guys, especially during the summer months, is going to really help us. Because SPY can tend to get sticky during the summer months. Okay, so. All right, we're opportunists. We go where the opportunity is. The reason why I like SPY is because of the frequency of opportunities. Some of these individual names are not going to give you an opportunity every day. But SPY is going to give you an opportunity every day. All right, and this helps you block out the noise as well. There's going to be something for you to do. There's always work for you to do. If you're a SPY scalper, you have a job every day. Okay. Yeah, Shockwave is for purchase, guys. It is for purchase. Let's go over how to join our community. We do have a handful of people that did purchase Shockwave. I'm up to speed on adding everyone that did purchase it. All right, so again, we will probably do a live webinar. Last week was just a replay. I'll take that video down, and then I'll do a live webinar this Saturday on YouTube and on Google Meet as well for Shockwave. Okay, we'll do it live. If you're not sure what Shockwave is, there's a video on our channel that talks about Shockwave. And if you're looking to join our community, be part of our thriving community, and align yourself with dedicated traders and really learn how to navigate these markets, okay? Make sure to join our community. Go to the community tab on our site, pin in the chat. Apex plan, use the code April. 20 spots. I believe we have 8 or 9 spots left. All right, so let's fill those spots up for April. May comes around, we'll have 15 spots. All right, so it's just going to be by demand. All right, so we're already kind of full, so we're going to just open up just a few spots for the dedicated people that want to take their trade to the next level. All right, so make sure to use the code April. The yearly is also available. Any strikers that want to upgrade to yearly, I do have a different link. Okay, I do have a different link for you. Just say me in the chat. Okay, just say me in the chat. All right, but the yearly, if you do want to upgrade to the yearly, okay, that's $552. The monthly is $69 a month. The first month is about $58. All right, so absolute steal. Shockwave. All right, the indicator that's taking our trade into the next level. So the whole point is to trade the open with a structured plan. All right, built-in risk guidance, built-in levels. Levels are drawn for you every day. All right, so that takes away all the heavy lifting. The heavy lifting, you no longer have to do the lifting and do the building and do the design. All right, you just do the execution now. Your sole job now is to use your technical prowess to make execution decisions. You don't need to be drawing anything as it pertains to this system. Okay, that's available into the end of the month for $497 lifetime access. Okay, lifetime access to Shockwave, that's available on the site. All right, so for anyone that does want to upgrade to yearly, on the ones in the Discord, I will give you the link. Just say me. and that link is for $3.99. And once you're in, you're grandfathered in. Okay, the price, you'll never see a price increase. If you're a member already, you'll never see a price increase for the lifetime of your membership. Okay, so just lock in and lock in your price. We do have some members paying, I believe, less than $30, but they locked in last year, so they never seen a price increase, right? So hopefully, someone who does have that price for less than 30, if you're in the chat, okay, let the people know that there is no price increase. All right, you're automatically grandfathered in. Thank you for everything. I'm leaving in the green. That's a win for me. Absolutely, guys. If you're green, stay clean. If you are green, stay clean. Okay, my primary job is just facilitator. To give you the tools, the resources, all right, to help you become the best trader you can be. Education, commentary, the live training, the live trading, to get you to perform at your optimal level. That's the whole point. If you can perform at your optimal level, and then now you can help other people in the community. And then we have that strong base, right? Reach one, teach one. Iron sharpens iron. Shockwave, unfortunately, no, does not work on Thinkorswim. All right, the update is coming. Yeah, your price 100%. And the ones who joined last year, they're I still know who joined last year. Right? It took a certain level of trust in the system, trust in our program. And hopefully you are developing and learning and getting better. Right? Remember the key is, guys, gradual improvement over a long period of time. Gradual improvement over a long period of time. All right, don't try to look for massive gains right away. More than likely, you're going to give it back. And these principles apply everywhere in life. It's like a crash diet. Okay, I can do a water fast for 30 days and lose 60, 70 pounds. Okay? But what do you do after that's not sustainable? You can't just fast your whole life. You can incorporate it, you can do some version of fasting, but it's more sustainable for you to do things that are repeatable, that you can do, that you can make those incremental changes over a long period of time. Hey, I'm going to stay away from XYZ. I'm going to focus more on movement. Same thing with trading. You're not looking to get the 500, 600, 700% gains every day. More than likely, you're going to give it back. Okay? So same thing with the crash diet analogy. More than likely, you're going to gain all the weight back. But if you have that approach where you're saying, hey, I'm looking to make these changes for the long run, take it piece by piece, the one thing that's inevitable is time's going to pass. So eventually you'll get there. Time has no choice but to go. Okay, time is going to pass. But the question is, are you in alignment with the time, with the process? All right? From the time you decide to lock in, are you just going incremental, little by little, as the time passes? And eventually, it's like you're on a conveyor. And you're eventually going to get there. But the issue is we try to get there as quickly as possible. When we get there, we don't even know how we got there, so we can't sustain it. All right, we take unsustainable means to get to that destination, and we can't replicate it because it's not sustainable. Right, so again, making those incremental improvements week by week, day by day, and holding yourself accountable to yourself. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to justify anything to anyone. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. The sole purpose is, the sole thing is, you are just proving it to yourself. The time you put in, the effort that you put in. All right, and you're just constantly looking to get better. Because the issue becomes when you look left and right. When you look left, when you look right, right, now the comparison game starts. And when you're doing that, it's just like a dog chasing his tail. You're not going to go anywhere. So it just have to be like a racehorse. Have the blinders, focus on your race. Run your race, run your speed. Just don't stop running. Once you start, don't stop running. Just keep the legs moving. All right? Whether you finish the marathon in under 3 hours or it takes you 10 hours to finish, all right? It doesn't matter if you're taking the smallest steps. As long as you're moving, you will eventually finish. It's inevitable, right? Because you're just taking those small steps over and over and over and over and over again. Your time might be a little longer. That's fine, but you're going to get there. Because when you do get there, it doesn't matter how much time you spent to get there. You're there, right? And maybe it might be even sweeter because it took you longer. Okay, so very, very important to understand those things, guys. And same thing, apply the same things to your trading career. If this is really a career that you're looking to take on, if this is something you're looking to do long term, right? You don't need to flip your account 10x in 2 days because someone did it, right? They're in a different business. You're in the business of getting better and learning these skills that are repeatable and achieving things that are sustainable for a long period of time and constantly getting better. The shortcuts are available. I'm not saying there's no shortcuts. Okay, shortcuts are just detour back to where you began. All right, so very, very important to understand that. All right, so run your race. No, the Shockwave is available to the public. It's available to the public. You don't have to be in the community to purchase it. Okay, that is available to the public. But if you are in the community, you do have a discount code. Okay, you do have a discount code if you are in the community. Very, very important. Take your time, guys. It is just like any other career. So just for some reason, whenever we get into trading, all convention gets thrown out the window. Everything we know, everything you're good at outside of trading, or everything you did to get good at something else outside of trading, whether it's your career, whether it's a skill, right? Anything that you dedicated some time and effort to get good at, for some reason, we think those same principles don't apply here, and we can just take a shortcut. And that's not necessarily everyone's fault. That's just the nature of the industry we're in. Right? Overpromise, underdeliver. Or overpromise and never deliver. Right? Because the selling point is the possibility. All right. And people get attached to the possibility and it's like the mosquito mindset. All right. You see the light, you just go to the light. So very, very important to understand that. Take your time. I'm saying all that to say take your time, just like anything else. I'm pretty sure we have lots of people who are talented in many different things. And the same things that you did to get good at that particular thing, right? You have that framework to those same principles apply here. Okay, if I want to learn how to play the piano, I just can't sit there and just play 10 songs. I'm going to have to put the time in. I'm going to have to give myself some grace to learn. I just can't turn into Mozart, okay, by watching a video for 3 hours and then expect myself to play. It's going to take some time. So cut yourself some slack, give yourself some grace, and just continue to do the right things over and over and over again. Now, Shockwave is our indicator. Shockwave is the indicator that's available for you to trade the opening, the momentum in the open. Last week, tremendous numbers on Shockwave. This week, today, so far, guys, you can see, I did provide this nice little 10% pop. I took advantage of that. But it continued to go to TP1 and then eventually gave us the scalp opportunity there and eventually got stopped out. And of course, that drop there, it said the last trade was the puts at 1058. Puts at 1058. So it tells you when to, it's a trade assist. It tells you when to take the puts, when to take the calls based on the opening range. Okay. So Shockwave, if you guys are interested, guys, this is available here. Okay. Everything is in the description. At some point in time, this would be adopted across universally. Right? A lot of traders will have it at some point in time. It's just a matter of time. I want to click so bad on paper trading. Absolutely. So if you're still having trouble, right, because it's just so hard to stop clicking, once you're done, just jump over to paper trading. Right? But when you're paper trading, okay, it's very important that you don't turn it into a gamble. There's a proper way to paper trade. So treat the paper trade the same way you would do your normal trades. A lot of traders, what they do is they have a 50K account, and paper trade, they have a $50 million account. Or they have $1 million account. That does not make sense. Okay, so make it one-to-one. So whatever account you have, okay, make a replica right here. Okay, so because paper trading is like a sandbox. Okay, for any developers, for anyone in IT, you know sandboxes. Before you put anything into production, okay, you're looking to mimic the exact environment the production environment is. Okay, so this is your production environment. This is your live account. If you're looking to paper trade, you want to replicate it. If it's 50K, 50K. If it's 5K, 5K. 100K, 100K. What happens is when we paper trade, we have something above and beyond what we actually do. Because by default, most of the paper trade platforms allow you to paper trade at $1 million. Okay, that right off the bat, that's off. So again, the best thing to do, there's a proper way to do it, is create the exact same environment, the exact same variables, as closely as possible to what you're working with. Take the exact same setups, exact same trades, exact same size. Okay, because what will end up happening is eventually you'll be doing fine here in production, and then for some reason you start to develop bad habits in the sandbox, and you get away with them because you start to be down big and then it recovers. You win big and that bleeds into here. All right, so make sure to do the same thing. Everything, it's almost like there shouldn't be a difference between your paper trading and your live trading. Make it seamless. All right, use that as a testing sandbox type of environment. If you're looking to trade, if you're looking to test out a new system, that's what paper trade is great for. Okay, so you can maybe make another paper trading account and test that particular strategy. All right, so you already defined the things you want to test. You have to define your risk. Make sure you have the proper amount on the paper trade, and trade it like you would do it in your production environment. So paper trading is great for testing. Okay, think of it as a sandbox. All right, don't think of it as some kind of a demotion or some kind of environment where you can just do whatever you want. Because the danger is that kind of behavior can start to bleed into the production environment. Okay, so don't let your brain know the difference. Okay, if your brain knows you can trick your brain to think it's the same. Right? Of course, emotionally is different, but you have to try to trick your brain to make it feel like it's the same. All right, that is a great thing to do. So now the question is, all right, when you're paper trading with minimal emotion versus live trading with more emotion, right? We know the differences are psychological tie to the dollar. That's all it comes down to. And we all face this, right? And paper trading, we have this sense of freedom, right? In live trading, there's so much psychological things tied to the dollar, it starts to seep in to our thinking. So the goal, the ultimate goal, is to have elements of that sense of freedom you have, not recklessness, freedom you have when you're paper trading in a production environment, right? And the best way to do that is to use smaller size and get comfortable. Okay, use small size. There's no shame in the size you're using. Again, this comes down to the comparison game. Okay, use the size you're comfortable with. Start working your way up. Just because you start with 5 contracts, you're not going to stay at 5 years from now. If this is a career meaning you're looking to dedicate multiple decades, or if you have dedicated multiple decades to this, all right, you're just getting started. You're just in the beginning. You just got hired. You can't think of being the CEO after the first year, after the second year, even the 5th year. All right, so very, very important. You trade where you are, trade to constantly improve, and being able to mimic the things you feel in paper trading, that freedom in the production environment is everyone's aspiration. That's the ultimate goal. Can you get there 100%? Probably not, but you try to get as close as possible to that. Because now you're really trading the chart. Right? In the beginning, it's going to be tough because there's the psychology, especially people who are in the beginning stages. You see the dollar go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. My recommendation is just remove it. Just if you look at the percentage, you can think of percentage basis. That's what I like to look at. Okay? Or just remove that completely and just trade a chart. But the danger with that is you don't know, because there's so many things that can impact it. The ATR, the spread, there's so many things that can impact it. You don't know how much your particular risk at that particular time. Okay, so very important to make those small refinements and adjustments. How Shockwave works. So I'll give you an example of IWM. IWM is a good example today. So the whole point with Shockwave is to give you the tools and resources you need to help you trade the open. Okay, the most amount of opportunity comes during the open. The hardest time to trade is during the open. Okay, so you can see it tells you when to buy, what tells you when to sell, gives you the levels, gives you confirmation, gives you the market bias, gives you the market context, gives you a lot of cool things. And what I'll recommend for those of you who are interested, guys, go to my YouTube channel and go to the latest video. Okay, that video is about less than, I'd say 45 minutes, maybe an hour. All right, so go through that video, watch that video. That'll answer a lot of your questions. Okay, that'll answer a lot of your questions. Let me close some tabs here. Okay, so SPY not doing anything here. Just continues to bounce around. Stuck between these two territories. Sweep of these lows, possible lotto. From another trader, he's thinking maybe we pull back to 705. Of course, anything can happen. 705. Yep, we're at that 706 territory. Okay, so very important to understand that. But the thing is, everything is about the time. What I mean by that is, at some point in time, we're at 711. So when? The when is the most important part. When are we going to get to 705? When are we going to get to 711? Right? When are we going to get to these levels? How long are we going to stay at those levels? Because that's any level you draw can become a level. Say I have this level here. Okay. Let's do a random level here. Okay, let's just go to the 4 hour. I'll show you. And let's just do a random level. We're just going to plot a level here. Okay, 709.09. More than likely, if we go to the 1, you're going to see the 709.09. Look at this. Just a random level. Completely random. All right, you can see it comes to this level. It does this, does that, does this. All right, so what you realize is with these levels, there's a phenomenon that takes place. Any level is a level. Any level is a level. So you have to distinguish the difference between a level and a key level. You have to clearly distinguish between a key level and a level. And now you have to say, what is my key level? What is a key level? Because when I was going down that line of thinking, that's when the light bulb went off. I can put any level on the chart, price will have some kind of interaction with it. Right? But what makes the levels that I have on my chart more significant than any level on the chart? All right, so now when you start going down that line, you start to say, hey, you know what are some of the historical levels? What are some levels that the market has given me rather than me? What are the levels that are objectively true? Okay, the high and low are true. The open is true. Those are objectively true. Right? I can't debate the opening price. I can't debate the opening price of SPY. That's not up for debate. I can't say, hey, you know what, SPY's open. SPY's open is 7:10:28, but there should be something else. That's not up for debate. So the difference between key levels and any other level is the how close it is to being objective. Objectively true. Because the level that we just marked out, that random level, right? It's a level. But is it objectively true? No, it's not. Right? It's not objectively true. Right? You'll start to see those things bend your brain, right? And it's very, very interesting. Price has been there before. That's another factor, right? That's when support, resistance, supply, demand come into play. So now if you pair it with, okay, price has been there before. There's previous history, all right? That's also true. But price has history all over the place. So how do you filter that a little further? So now getting levels that are objectively true, based on highs, lows, 50% retraces, opens, gap ups, gap downs, and that have historical significance. Then now you have some key levels. Okay. So let me give you the video for Shockwave here. Okay. I'll drop the video. I'll drop the link to that video. If anyone who's interested in Shockwave. Let's see if we can get to 4,850 subs. Our goal is to crack 5K by the end of the year. We're coming close. End of the month, not end of the year. That would be a huge milestone, guys. Every single person that is subscribed is a real, living, breathing person. Right? So we built this from the ground up. So I do appreciate every subscription. This is a video for Shockwave. All right, so check that out. That video will give you more insight on what it is, how to use it, how it's built, and what it solves for. Okay, what it solves for. Okay, let's see how many likes we have. We'll look to wrap it up here shortly, guys. We'll probably take it to 1, and then we'll look to wrap it up. So today, 3 trades, 2 worked in my favor. I stopped out on Meta. Let's get to the goal is 150 likes. The goal is 150 likes. I'm long on Q20 at the 712s. Entry point, expecting sharp pullback on the upside. Okay. Can you either ripping to 710 or 700? 700 would be a nice area. Just look at the daily chart. So true. Shockwave. Guess there's a part. I didn't see the question. Okay. So 282 trading days per year, $50 a day, $12,000 per $12,000 per year, $100 a day. Yeah, that is we call that fruits of consistency. Patience is key. No, that is correct. That is correct. I have an illustration in the Discord about that, but only thing with that is sometimes people get thrown off and they get fixated on the numbers. And numbers sometimes throw you off the process. All right, because is the input versus output. Okay, what is the output? Money is the output. Okay, what is the input? The input is the process. The things we do in order to get the output. All right, so a lot of times when we're heavily focused on numbers, all right, you're over-indexing on the output. All right, it's called like Excel math, right? All these projections. If you do this for this many times, I'm going to get there, and then in 6 months, I'm a gazillionaire. That's good. I'm not saying don't do that. It's good to map those things out, but I would say more of the focus should be here. What things do I have in place to make this output come to fruition? What strategies? How's my risk management? How am I getting better? Because eventually the output, okay, will take care of itself. But if we're focused here and we're not focused on the things we need to do here to get there, okay, this is just going to be a wish. Okay, it's going to stay on Excel. It's going to be Excel math. All right, I have that same exact thing here on the SAT calculator. Okay, so we do have that SAT calculator. Okay, you can see. All right, I'd say this is the most important table to look at. Okay. So this table tells you, all right, your win rate you need along with your risk reward. Okay, so if you have a 1-to-1 risk reward, okay, that means you will be break even with a 50% win rate. That means if you're looking to lose $1 to make $1, all you need to do is win half the time and you will stay where you are. If you win any more than that, you will see profits. If you have a 2-to-1 with a negative win rate, you'll still be profitable. Because for every one you're winning, and for every one you're risking, you're winning 2. If you have something in between that, 1.5-to-1, so on and so forth, right? And that leads us to this here, the fruits of consistency. What Drezzy Wells addressed on YouTube. All right, so just anchor yourself to the thing that's doable. Okay, say okay, $10, $20 a day, $10 a day. If you can do it, if you can do this, you can do this. Now it's just a matter of having the proper infrastructure in place, having the proper process, and trusting yourself with more. Because the issue becomes, if you can do this repeatedly, right, you're starting to build this trust in your system and you're gradually moving higher. And by the time you get here, all right, or even higher than that, right, you have the comfort, you believe in yourself. You've done it before. But a lot of traders start here and they don't have anything to fall back on. They haven't proven it to themselves yet. That's when the doubt starts to creep in. Okay, that's what the doubt starts to creep in. If you've been there before, if you bounced back from red before, you know when you see red again, right? You've done it before. Right? That's why it takes you to go through the ebbs and flows, right? Recovering from losses, containing your wins, not getting too euphoric. All these things come with the process. Yes, that is true, Wells. Okay. If we can come into this territory, see if we get a nice little bounce. The only issue is we're moving about 66 cents per 5-minute candle. Qs are gradually pushing lower. SPY is gradually pushing lower as well on the 5. The Dow's looking to take out that weekly open. That's available in the Discord, SAT calculator. Okay. And now we're starting to see some volume imbalances. When we start to see this, okay, this is a volume imbalance. That means there's very little volume, very inefficient. This is a red flag. You typically see this during the holiday months. All right, if you traded with me during the holiday months, we illustrated that point. So now you know whenever you see this, right, very inefficient price movement. Even here, right here. Lots of volume imbalances. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Done for the day. Beautiful job, Gary. Beautiful. How many likes are we at today? A little light on the likes today. Little light. We're at 125. Okay. What kind of movement do we get here? 15, continued sell-off. Apple continues to sell off. Down goes Google. Amazon is looking to get back into play to the downside. Down goes Tesla. Tesla reports earnings. Walmart continues to push higher. Exxon holding its own as it pushes. Look at this, guys. Synchronized selling across the board. So the bears need that close below 708.14. Last thing the bulls want to see is a complete drop below those lows. Or last thing the bears want to see is a reclaim here. Mean reversion. NVIDIA also broke down nicely, hit TP already. Hit TP already. That was a terrific advice. I loved how you broke down the trades per day. Get all the likes up, absolutely, guys. So we come into this territory. Buyers start stepping in. They let it flood. They flush it, and then they start stepping in. See if they can get that close back above that 706. This little thing's blocking that 706.14. Hezbollah violates pact. Yeah, it's just like every day something. Okay. AI alerts today. What we got on AI alerts? HIMS. 30 calls on HIMS. Came in at 11:49, about an hour ago. Let's actually take a look at that. HIMS got beat up today, so might be a dip buy. HIMS. That came in at 11:49, 11:50. 11:50 here, so it came in like right there. So him probably hold this territory, hold that 50 EMA on the hourly. What else came in? MRVL came in. MRVL came in at 135, 11:35. So MRVL already appreciated. AMD 68% confidence. That came in at what time did that come in? 9:53. Wow, NVIDIA worked out. AMD worked out nicely. That was right off the open. 9:53. AMD 68% confidence. Those are the 1 to 2 days out. 4/24 expiration. So the AI is constantly giving you alerts. 38% profit on AMD. Okay. That's part of the Discord. So make sure to go through those if you're looking for ideas, or just a nice little thing to look at. Okay, look at that. Nice sweep of those lows. All right, treat support as support, resist as resistance to prove otherwise. We're at 129 likes. We'll give it until 12 minutes, and then we'll look to wrap up. Any questions, guys? That's a nice mean reversion there. If you took that lotto, just manage accordingly. If you're done for the day, great job. That's 2 days in the books, guys. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Okay, tomorrow I have Tesla earnings. So now, where do we want to go from here? So we're at the lows of the day. We grab prior shifts lows. This is just a nice little bounce, but it has for us to shift structure. These are the highs we need to take out. So what are some paths? Some paths we can take out of here. Okay, inverse head and shoulder out of here. Okay, we need one more component. Okay, it's gonna be predicated on where these highs come in. Once these highs are set, they can be equal highs. They can be lower highs. All right, slightly lower, but as long as these next lows don't violate those lows, that can come into play. They can be higher highs. What that just changes is of course, one shifts the structure, but two, it just changes the neckline. Okay, so very important to pay close attention to that. If you took that already, TP. If you're holding that as a lotto, manage accordingly. Conditions are not ideal. Higher time frames. If you're looking at the 15, that gives you a cleaner read. Further dated contracts might be the best way to go. 1 DTE at least to give yourself optimal time. Keep in mind we're in the heart of lunchtime. We're in the heart of that lunchtime range. If we take a look at this bigger picture, okay, on the 15, we can see that inverse head and shoulder playing out a little cleaner. Bigger picture inverse head and shoulder. In this case, the neckline being in this territory there. Some of these highs up there. So we can do one of these maneuvers. We can go. And I want to see where we are in relation, very close to the close. I want to see where we are because this 50 MA, a little too early for me to take a swing now because there's still a lot of time on the clock. But this 50 MA in hindsight, all right, could be the point where we take off back the upside. If we start looking back at this by the end of the week and we're at all-time highs, we'll probably point back to this area and say, hey, this is where the move took place. So I'll consider some possible one-day swings here. Okay, late day. If we can hang on this territory, that'd be great. So I like to get those one-day swings late day, so I don't have to sit through any of the back and forth intraday. If that comes into play, I'll let you guys know in the Discord, of course. If it doesn't, that's also fine. No harm, no foul. Absolutely, Gary. Have a great day. Anyone else wrapping up? Again, if you're done for the day, guys, be done. Stay clean. Tomorrow, more opportunities. We still have 3 more days left. Keep that in mind, guys. A clear trend to the downside here. Clear trend to the downside. Clear trend to the downside on the 5 across all the indexes. IW is trying to reclaim that 276.10, which is that 50% retrace the daily. If these lows get knocked out, that means we continue to push lower. So the bulls only hope out of here, okay, if they're going to engineer an escape, okay, is to get that right shoulder in this area. If they're going to engineer an escape out of here, okay, that's the way. Because that selling pressure is available. I'll try to make the automatic levels. I'm looking to add a couple more things probably by the end of the month, maybe May. I'm looking to add a couple of things into it. And that'll be available. Right. One thing is I don't want to release it and rush it and then just put out something that's not 100% accurate. Okay. That 5 minute, very messy, continues to trend lower, continues to ride that 9 EMA on the 5. And we went bearish engulfing on the daily. All right, so before we wrap up here in the next 6 minutes, let's go take a look at that daily candle. Let's go take a look at that daily candle. Okay. Let's take a look at that daily candle to give us a little context of where we are. So we went on a three-peat. Okay, 3 all-time highs in a row. We took a one-day break yesterday. And now today we're starting to pull back. And this is NVIDIA. NVIDIA pulling back as well. NVIDIA, we can always... Who sees a retest on NVIDIA just waiting right there? A retest on NVIDIA, we'll address that tomorrow if we continue to pull back. But SPY. Main focus is SPY here. There we go. You can see this candle here. So our first, we went inside here. First bearish engulfing 3-down candle. And that was within the realm of possibility once that 50% retrace got knocked out. So our first aggressive selling candle since the beginning of this massive push. This was just a pause. Not a lot of selling. We just gapped up and opened, and we just closed lower than we opened. But it was still a lot of buying pressure from the previous day. So this is our first legitimate sell candle that we've seen on this massive run up. All right, so the question is, of course, now what we need to ask ourselves is, there's still a little bit of time left on the clock, about 3 hours left. Okay, 3 hours left. So now in the next 3 hours, can this candle, A, stay full body? Meaning full body close. If it does stay full body, and it is ultra bearish, how much of this gap does it sell off into? That's question one, right? So question one, can it stay full body and bearish engulfing candle? And right behind that, sub question under that question would be, if it continues to be very bearish, how much of this gap does it start to make up? That gap up. That's scenario one, question one, sub question two. So sub question one. Now, if we do get buyers to step in off that TOG, top of that gap, we'd have major support here. Okay. Can they make this candle, that daily candle, have a wick? Can they wick this back up late day buying and try to drive it back into 50% retrace the daily? If they can, that candle flips to being green. It flips to being a 3-up candle. That exact level is 708.03. So if a flip gets back above 708.03 on SPY, okay, the candle will actually still be red, but it will have a nice little hammer. If it gets above that daily open, we'll go green. So right now, the bears are in the lead. Okay, the bears are in the lead. Yesterday was a close game. Ended up being a draw. Today, the bears are in the lead. All right, so can they keep the lead, full body candle, down the stretch? Right. The other question is, can the buyers pick this thing back up off those lows and try to push it into 708.03? That's their biggest task. Try to get it as close as possible to 708.03. If it gets back above 708.03, then this just turns into a hammer. Then it just turns into a hammer. I mean, this would be just a wick. Right, so the way this daily candle closes will set the tone for tomorrow. Okay, so if we do close below this, that would imply that we violate that key zone. That would imply that we're below that 50 MA on the hourly. Okay, so that's where we are. Okay, so on the weekly is still monthly is not up for grabs. Monthly is still strong. Weekly, we're still inside. Weekly indecisive. All right, so the retest everyone has their eye on is this one right here. Okay, the most obvious retest is that previous all-time high, that 9 MA. All right, in the case where we do feel the gap to downside, we come back into this territory, we take off. All right, that'd be a nice retest of that 9 on the daily. If we come into that territory, implying that we have that takes place over the next handful of days, we become very bearish. This would be the time the bulls can step back in to shift that back up. All right, so a lot of things need to take place between now and this zone. but this will come into play at some point in time this week if we do see a sell-off. Okay. Okay. So no inverse head and shoulder. Continues to sell off. The trend is too strong. Now we're below at 706.14. That daily downside breaker. And now we're in the jaws of that gap. VIX is starting to pick up. VIX is green on the week. Indexes are red on the week. The Dow fell below the weekly open. Okay. On that note, guys, we'll look to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, put in the chat. If not, thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully you guys found value. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. If you're interested in joining our community, make sure to go to smartactiontraining.com to join us for the pre-market prep stream, along with access to all the tools and resources our community has to offer. Use the code APRIL if you're looking to get Shockwave. That's also available in the description. On your way out, like the video. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. If you're still in the trenches, be very, very careful. If you're green, stay clean. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless each one of you.